Hey, what's good with it, Black Goose TV family, man? Double salute as always. Your boy Fluenceboxing is back in the building again with some more Fluenceboxing news. Look, right off the bat, I'm gonna be 110% with y'all, man. I'm gonna be absolutely transparent. My allergies is going absolutely crazy today. You know what I'm saying? My allergies is on a whole nother level. I don't know if y'all saw my daily check-in, but I went for a run, did the hill runs. Y'all see the snot game. So I went for a hill run, did 5.5 miles of those joints. And it was cold. And I didn't know it was going to be as cold as it was, even though I probably should have expected it. My allergies tend to flare up, when I'm outside or when I'm in different climates, in the sense of like, I leave heat and then I go to cold, and especially if I'm sweating. So my allergies is on a whole nother level. So I feel like shit. I'm thinking like shit. You know what I'm saying? My nose, I got the sniffles, I got the sneezes. I'm just, if I were to rate how I felt 1 out of 10 right now, I feel like a 2. If I were to rate how crazy the allergies is right now, 1 out of 10, I would rate it an absolute 9.5. Like, that's how bad it is. But, to the point I was even debating if I even wanted to go live or do any videos, because, I feel like I'd just be sneezing through it, or I'll be, sounding crazy, or I'll be looking crazy, or, my energy wasn't there. But, at the end of the day, I'm saying, here I am, I'm saying, for some reason, y'all just keep pulling me back in, even when I'm telling myself like, yeah, nah, we can't do it. We can't make it happen. Here I am, nonetheless, going live, talking some boxing, giving y'all the Fluenceboxing news. And, for that, I just want to say, hey, show your boy some love. If you hop up in here, man, hit the like button below, subscribe to the channel if you're not part of the Black Goose TV family, you feel me? And, notification gang, comment on this joint, you know what I'm saying? Let me know how you feel about the subjects, the topics, everything we discussing, because this whole entire platform, everything we're doing is built off of what y'all think, you know what I'm saying? How y'all feel, y'all perspective, you know what I'm saying? Y'all overall knowledge of the boxing, of the boxing sport, boxing art, boxing game, however you want to, call it, however you want to say it. Now with all that being out the way, so I had to give you like a disclaimer on the bottom, so you know what you're getting yourself into. So if you see me kind of like man, it seemed like he kind of down in energy, or he's sniffing a lot, he's sneezing, whatever the case may be, man, the allergies is on a whole nother level. So y'all bear with me. And what I'm saying, I appreciate it for real. But we got some topics we definitely want to jump into tonight. That I think is something that should definitely be discussed to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to I don't want to what's a good word for it? I don't want to drag it out. That's a good word. I don't want to drag out, this particular topic that we're first going to be going into, which is Demetrius Andrade pulling out of the Zach Parker fight. I don't want to drag that out. I also want to seem like I'm slandering the man, because, especially since he's been one of my favorite fighters, he's still one of my favorite fighters. I still think he still has an opportunity in this, in the state and in the particular place he is in his particular career, his age, where he can actually shock the world and do something and prove everybody wrong. I still think that's a possibility, as long as the right decisions is being made. But at the end of the day, this needs to be addressed. This needs to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? Majority of the time that, I was, just, absolutely, fanboy. I still am a fanboy of Demetrius Andrade, boo-boo. But, when I couldn't see him doing any wrong, you know what I'm saying? Before, like I talked about in the last stream, before my head coach, prior that I was working with, opened my eyes when it comes to the situation. It's like, he couldn't do no wrong, you know what I'm saying? But this is something that, it just all depends on your outlook on the situation, and it all depends on how you want to see it, and that's kind of where you're going to put your opinion, in my personal opinion. So what do I mean by that? So I was looking at the comments on the video, when it comes to when I dropped the particular video with Demetrius Andrade canceling the fight with Zach Parker. And, a lot of people were definitely leaning, toward the fact that Boo Boo is a duck. You know what I'm saying? That Boo Boo is, he's known to do this. I don't understand why anyone's surprised, things like that. I may even, pull it up a little bit later, just to kind of go over the comments so we can talk about them. You know what? I'm going to pull them up real quick for y'all, because I don't even want to go off of just my word and what I'm saying, man. I just, it was interesting to see, how adamant people were to show that, in their personal opinion, Demetrius Andrade ain't what everybody, says they are. What's crazy to me too is like when people try to gas, or it's almost like they're gassing Andrade and we're not. They try to make it seem like we make Andrade to be something that he's not. Like, he's this great boxer, he has an amazing record. We don't do that. We just really respect his skills, and we would love to see his skills. Like a true Andrade fan, we want to see his skill, his particular style of boxing, his slickness, his awareness. We want to see that against somebody, that's a notable name, to see, if he's able to do the exact same thing in that same position, We are confident that he will, but we want to see it so that we can prove y'all. Like, y'all be taking his death like we're saying like he's just the next coming of this and he's the world beater and all this type. We're not saying that. We just want to see him in the ring with someone where we can be like, that's a very formidable opposition at the end of the day, because we really respect how he looks in that ring when he does his work. You feel me? So it's like it's like when I see people coming at Andrade fans, myself, saying basically like y'all don't understand because he ain't fight nobody, etc. It's like in reality, I'm assuming you're a Canelo fan. Like when I see people heavily criticize Demetrius Andrade Boo Boo, I was like, I'm assuming you were a Canelo fan. Like you got to be a Canelo fan because what I'm saying. If we're talking about anybody else at that particular weight division, it's not like they fight anybody like that either. Like Canelo's. Like I've been saying it, like right now, currently in boxing, I think Anthony Joshua is probably number one when it comes to his resume. Joe Joyce is definitely creeping up on him. Joseph Parker has a great resume as well. But other than that, in my personal opinion of active fighters, someone who's coming up close when it comes to a great resume, obviously, is going to be Canelo. He's going to be right there. Other than that, no one really is touching those guys' resume and fighting the who's who's. And what, only one person that I named was outside of the heavyweight division. And a lot of people don't like to put the heavyweight division or heavyweight fighters in the same category as the smaller fighters. So if that's the case, if we really look at current fighters right now, if you want to talk about someone having an amazing record, yeah, okay, Canelo has a very, 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 very good, record. Arizona Laura, I think, in my personal opinion, has a solid record, but it doesn't touch Canelo's. Jermell Charlo has a solid record, but it doesn't touch Canelo's. You know what I'm saying? Other than, some of those names, it's like outside of that, it's like, well, who are we talking about just fighting the who's who? Who are we talking about just, having a great, all these different, what I'm saying, amazing opponents on a record? And a lot of y'all right now that's caught in the moment, y'all probably say Earl Spence, but if y'all say Earl Spence, you got to say Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? But even with those names being said, it still does not touch what Canelo has done and who he's fought. He's fought the who's who's. So for you to try and come in, so if we want to be specific now, we want to narrow it down. We want to get down to the nitty gritty. We want to get down to, putting everything into a box. If we're talking about middleweights and super middleweights specifically, we're only really looking at the current active fighter, in which be Canelo, of having an amazing record. No one comes close. I don't care who you're talking about. David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, none of these guys. Arizona Lara, none of these guys. Triple G, none of their records come close to Canelo's and what he's been doing. So I'm just trying to figure out, when you guys come at Demetrius Andrade and say, who has he fought? Are you a Canelo fan? Because if you are, I understand it. Okay, bet. But if you're like a Jamal Charlo fan, a David Benavidez fan, I'm like, well, who have they fought? I can that's always going to be my biggest issue when it comes to that. It's like, clarify, who do you root for? Because if this is just about y'all Canelo fan, y'all, and it's like, okay, then I agree with that. I never disagree with that. I'm not that delusional to be like, oh, Demetrius Andrade deserves the Canelo fight. I was one of the main people who said Andrade should have made the jump to 168 earlier, because that was going to be a straight line. You know what I'm saying? Well, not earlier, but in the last 2 years, he should have already jumped to 168, getting comfortable at the weight. I'm like, but at the same time, maybe he's strategic for him to jump up and weight later in his career because he understands the benefits, and also he's maybe in his personal opinion, he's taking away certain risks, waiting a little bit later in his career. Either way it goes, like I'm not trying to sound like an apologist, or I'm not trying to sound like someone who's trying to cap or anything for Andrade. All I'm saying is, if the argument against Andrade is always going to be, okay, who has he fought? If we're talking about middleweights, we're talking about current active super middleweights, who have they fought? The only person that's out of that is the anomaly of Canelo. So if you're a Canelo fan, you have every right to say what you have to say. But other than that, it's like, yo, Andrade, Caleb Plant, Jamal Charlo, David Benavidez, like whoever you want to talk about, Triple G, like they're all kind of just on the same playing field right now, because look, none of them have the greatest resume. So So that's all I'm saying. Like it's all good. Like y'all can come at me, crazy with the Demetrius Andrade opinions, rightfully so. He bowed out. He pulled out of the fight. But at the same time, you do have to understand you can't blame somebody for doing that when he's used to getting paid a certain amount. And then all of a sudden, now he's getting not even half that. Like he's getting like, that's like you going to work every day for 2 years, getting paid a certain salary, right? Getting paid a certain salary. On the 5th year, all of a sudden, your boss is like, yo, you finna get 25% of that salary for this year. You cool with that? All y'all would be like, hell, now I hope so at least. You know what I'm saying? If you got a backbone to you, I'll move on. I'll find something better. I ain't finna, no way. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same exact situation. I'm not saying it's right. Because, you know what I'm saying, and to an extent, that is a false equivalency because, we're talking about something that they're getting paid per fight that they can do multiple times. And in this particular situation, Demetrius Andrade said he'll do whatever to get that chance at Canelo. Sorry. But I will say this because I'm not going, I'm going to do responding to the comments this Friday because I think it's necessary because a lot of people got a lot of stuff to say. So I'm not going to pull up the comments. I did say I was going to pull up the comments earlier. I'm not going to do that. I am going to pull up the article that I want to read when it comes to Zach Parker. But, and what Zach Parker had to say about Andrade. But, I'm not going to pull up the comments because I'm going to say that for Friday. We're going to do respond to the comments because a lot of y'all got a lot of things to say. But, even in that sense, right? Even with that taking place, even with that all being part of the narrative, you have to understand, regardless if Andrade said, yo, I'll take this fight. I need this fight. I'm going to go, I want to be in a position to get the Canelo fight. And that's why I see a lot of people talking about, a lot of people being like, yo, how you going to pull out? And you said, you want to get as close to Canelo as possible. It's like I keep repeating myself when it comes to this particular situation. Y'all got to listen. The Bivol fight changed everything. Canelo was not supposed to lose against Bivol. You understand that, right? That was not supposed to happen. With that happening, that changed the entire trajectory of all of these other middleweight, super middleweights who were looking to try and get the Canelo fight, the Canelo payday to change their legacy. And I'm honest, man. I admit Demetrius Andrade was one of those guys. Jamal Charlo was one of those guys. David Benavidez was one of those guys. All these dudes was one of those guys. Caleb Plant was one of those guys. That's why he still wants to fight again. He says he wants to fight him in 2024. They still trying to get the Canelo money train, but you have to understand the Bivol loss changed the entire trajectory of everything. Nothing was the same after that. And Andrade's team saw it. Jamal's team saw it. David Benavidez's team saw it. Caleb Plant's team saw it. And so now Andrade is like, oh, yeah, well, I can end up beating Zach Parker for that WBO interim super middleweight title, but Canelo's not going to fight me. And I'm not talking about skill or nothing. I'm not talking about skill or nothing. I'm strictly talking business right now when it comes to strictly business. Guess what? If he understands business, Andrade's going to be like, Canelo wants that Bivol rematch. And if he can't get the Bivol rematch, you better guarantee he's looking at either the winner of a Better Bid versus Yard, or he's looking at the winner of Bivol versus Zurdo Ramirez, or he's looking at David Benavidez. I'm telling you this right now. Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, they should fight because I'm like, that fight is Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade, they have no chance at Canelo now. Because you guys have to understand this. I know it sounds crazy too, but I don't know if anyone remembers Canelo talking about he would love to fight Usyk at cruiserweight. Usyk said he would love that fight. He would love the money from that fight. Zen in the building. What's good with it, Zen? Go, my guy. What's up? If you're chilling tonight, let me know. I'll drop the link in the comments. But if y'all don't remember, Canelo said, I would love to fight Usyk. Usyk, he acknowledged it recently. Beforehand, he didn't acknowledge it. Because Canelo said this maybe about a year and a half ago. And then he reiterated, I think he either reiterated, the reporter asked him again, and Usyk's now saying, I would love to do it for the money. So Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade probably has the rarest likelihood of getting that particular fight. Because, Canelo fighting David Benavidez is a much bigger fight than him fighting Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Andrade. Canelo fighting Zurdo Ramirez is a much bigger fight. than fighting Canelo. Than fighting Jamal Charlo or fighting Demetrius Andrade. Zero Ramirez happens to beat Bivol. Him fighting Bivol for the second time is a more bigger fight than fighting Jamal Charlo or fighting Demetrius Andrade. And then, of course, I think the only one that's a smaller fight is, the Caleb Plant versus Canelo fight, too. Like, no one wants to see that for a second time. So I'm just like, I don't even know why you're calling for the fight, Caleb. Shouldn't even, respectfully, you did your thing. I enjoyed it. You had a good time. But we don't want to see that fight again. But so if you see that Demetrius Andrade's team is saying, okay, I don't have any problem putting myself in a position where, I can be the mandatory at the on the WBO against Canelo, but at the same time, now that I see that I have the least likelihood of actually getting that fight and making it happen because of all the other options that are now in front of Canelo, why would I take this fight at 25% of what I'm used to getting paid? A lot of y'all gonna be like, man, you over here capping hard. You just defending Demetrius Andrade because you're a fan. Yeah, I'm doing that. I am. But I'm fair. I am fair. Like I'm playing both sides. But I just want to put that particular equation. I want to put that particular sentiment out there because I feel like a lot of people aren't paying attention to it because I feel like at the end of the day, you guys are too focused on the fact that but fair enough, because that's how I would argue it. But okay, Andrade said he wants to fight against Zach Parker. He wants to do whatever he can to get next to Canelo. He wants the Canelo fight, whatever he can do. And then now all of a sudden he's in a position where he can get, he's healed. His shoulder's healed. The surgery went well. He's ready to go. He has a date. The purse bids in, and he ends up backing out of the fight. It's like, why did you even sign the contract if you plan to back out of the fight? I understand that point. I can't argue that point. But just remember, I will say he signed that contract in early January. The original fight was for May. So this is before Canelo fought Bivol, before Canelo lost, before it changed the trajectory of a lot of these guys' plans. And you have to remember that. Like, he didn't have to sign a new contract for this new date. The contract has been signed. The original fight date was May. So him backing out had nothing to do with, I just signed a new contract for a new purse bid, and now we're fighting November, projected 12th or 11th or something like that. You see what I'm saying? I think it just all comes down to the fact, in my personal opinion, when you really look at it, when you really, look at the ins and outs, when you look at the specifics, Yeah. When you look at all that, you just really have to ask yourself this one question. It comes down to this one question. Did Andrade make the right decision? That's really the main question. I think you can criticize him all you want. You can say he pulled out. You can say he's a duck. You can say, I saw someone say he's been ducking Janabek for 2 years now, which is crazy because 2 years. Come on. 2 years. That's crazy. People saying, how do you not expect this? This is known for Andrade. When in my personal opinion, I'm a big Andrade fan because he always shows up every night. Excuse me for my allergies, y'all. But I'm like, from my personal opinion, he ain't never missed weight, and he always shows up. If you're going off of that one time way back when in the early days when he didn't fight one of the Charlo brothers, you know what I'm saying? I'm not finna go on that backstory because that's such old shit. Y'all know what the case may be. Hopefully y'all know the truth when it comes to that. That's the only other time. Other than that, like this idea of him being a duck is crazy. No other fighter has ever called him out. You know what I'm saying? No other fighter has ever offered him a contract. The fighters that you're thinking of, the fighters that we've been talking about, the only one I do give respect to is David Benavidez. David Benavidez has been saying he wants that fight, so I give him that. That's a hard fight to make because PBC and Eddie Hearn, they don't really do business together unless, it really, really has to make sense. And the last time it made sense, what I'm saying, it had Canelo's name involved. So, what I'm saying, I'm not the type of person that's just gonna rock with this, the duck idea. That's not really me. But you guys obviously gonna expect that from me because I'm a quote unquote fanboy of Demetrius Andrade. But let's be fair. Let's look at both sides. Let's see the entirety of the picture. You feel me? Zach Parker has some few choice words when it came to this whole entire situation, and I thought it'd only be right that we take a look at it, man. It's coming from boxingscene.com. I'm gonna pull it up for y'all so everybody can see what I'm talking about. Don't feel like y'all lost. So boxingscene.com. Zach Parker, I feel messed badly about. Disgusted by Andrade's behavior. This is a pattern. That's an interesting claim, man. So he's kind of on a lot of, your guys' side of the game, where you feel like this is something that, Andrade always does. Me personally, me being a fan, me watching his fights, me following, I've never seen him do this before. But let's see what Zach Parker had to say. Zach Parker is normally a man of few words. The unbeaten super middleweight now has plenty to say after being left with even fewer fights thanks to Demetrius Andrade's latest career move. As previously reported by boxingscene.com, Andrade walked away from a planned interim WBO super middleweight for a second time this year. An injury forced this 34-year-old American southpaw from Providence, Rhode Island, to withdraw from their scheduled May 21st clash in Parker's hometown of Derby, England. General dissatisfaction over the purse bid resulted of their reordered interim title fight prompted Andrade to have his team contact the WBO to inform of his decision to move in a different direction. So I hope you guys saw that right there. It says the reason why he pulled out or why he decided not to take the fight. General dissatisfaction over the purse bid, which we all know came out to be $300K, which ultimately means that he would only be paid about $185,000 for the fight, which Andrade is used to. And this is. I remember we're going to talk about this too. This is. I was trying to say this is still a W. He takes it all home. Well, no, that's not a W at all. This is his first fight outside of Eddie Hearn, so he's basically representing himself. I think it's a smart move from Frank Warren as a businessman. But with when he was with Eddie Hearn, he was making over $1 million per fight. So, go from and then take tax that, maybe pay your trainers and stuff. You walk away with like $800K, $700K. Like, come on, man. You're gonna be walking away with maybe like 90, 80, something like that. Probably less. That's crazy. So I'm not mad at it, and it's understandable, but at the end of the day, you can't blame him. All right, we got Dub right side in the building. Before I finish this, I want to because I thought that was an interesting point right there. I want to see what Dub feel about that. What's your thoughts?
Man, I'm late, bro. I just saw you was live, bro. I was on another show, man. We had a debate earlier, man. What we cooking, man? And I know what we cooking. I believe we cooking on Andrade. I always say the nigga name wrong. What is Andrade?
Yeah,
him versus Zach Parker. Him pulling out of that fight. Is that what we cooking on?
Yeah. Do you know the reason why he pulled out?
I don't know the reason why. I do not.
Okay, so that was a question I wanted to ask you. So it says right here, boxingscene.com. General dissatisfaction over the purse bid, results of their reordered interim title fight prompted Andrade to have his team contact the WBO to inform of his decision to move in a different direction. So
that's a good move.
Okay, with getting paid essentially
$135,000. Yeah, no, hell no.
And that's what he'll be paid. He still got to pay his team. He still got to pay probably for, I don't know if they are covering it. Maybe, the rooms, whatever the case may be, medical, I think they do cover medical, but he still got to pay his team, etc. So I'm like, and then you got to get taxed.
Man, I thought that was, first off, the purse bid won by Frank Warren. Ain't no way that fight should be, and I don't even remember the exact dollar amount. I think we talked about it before. I think it was 305 or some shit.
About 305K total.
That's some bullshit, man. It's some bullshit. And my thing is this is I kind of got multiple problems with the situation. When I say multiple problems, my thing is now that he's not with Andrade no longer over with Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, The Zone. You feel me? You don't have a team backing you. You don't have a network backing you. And you probably know better than I do. I don't even know who the fuck is backing Zach Parker. I have no clue. No clue. I'm guessing Frank Warren. And I'm so. But at the same time, ain't no way
behind him. At the very least, Zach Parker does.
That man, Frank Warren, they ain't got no damn machine over there. That ain't no machine. They got a. Talk to me.
I correct you. Big heavyweight win just happened, and that's Frank Warren. Joe Joyce is signed with Frank Warren. He's under Queensberry promotion. Now, at one point, Joe Joyce was with PBC. I don't know how that contract works right now. But Joe Joyce is part of Frank Warren's camp. Frank Warren's also part of Tyson Fury's. That's a co-promotional deal, but he comes originally from Frank Warren. Also, he has Daniel Dubois, up-and-coming heavyweight. So Frank Warren has some guys. I think he's Josh Taylor. I think he was, but yeah, go ahead, my bad.
I'm not disagreeing with Frank Warren having decent fighters, but at the same time, he ain't offering their ass, or he not bidding on their fights for 305, bro. He not doing that. He bid much more for those fights. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so
the May 12th bid, you know how much he was the one who won it. You know, he overbid on that fight because at the time Eddie Hearn was still attached to Andrade's name because his own bid on that fight. You know how much he won that purse bid for?
I don't know the exact number. I don't.
1.8 million.
Exactly. Why you can't bid that for Boo Boo, bro?
Because he knew he didn't have Eddie Hearn. DAZN bid it for that fight as well. DAZN bid it around like 1.2, and I think ESPN in top rank, I think they bid about 1.4 was like the next highest, and that's why when Eddie Hearn heard how much Frank Warren, he was like, if you there's an article I remember reading, and Eddie Hearn was kind of mocking Frank Warren. He was like, hey, he can have that fight. Like, why'd you bid so much? Like, he was mocking him, like, you way overbidding on this. So this is, it's almost like this is the move for him to now obviously bid so much under. I think it's a shot back not only on Andrade, and it's not necessarily at Andrade. I think it's at Eddie Hearn. I think it's Eddie Hearn. You paid him way too much.
Man, my thing is ain't no way a fighter like Boo Boo ain't no way you should be able to get that fight for 305, bro. It shouldn't happen. And what it seems like it comes down to, like you said, because he ain't being backed by the zone no more, it really what it is, he ain't got no platform. And when you don't have a platform, it opens shit up for anybody to bid, whatever. Man, the Zach Parker Andrade fight would be much more entertaining. I'm not going to say much more entertaining, but I think it's going to be more entertaining than Tio versus Kambosos was. And well, let me rephrase it. Let me rephrase it. It should be more entertaining than that fight. You know what I mean? Because we didn't think that Kambosos was going to win that fight, and so for the purse bid, or for them to bid what they bid, I ain't got no problem with Boo Boo pulling out of the fight. And damn it, man, you got to know your worth. The problem is at the same time, with you knowing your worth, you got to align yourself with individuals who know your worth as well and will bid on your fights accordingly. And it shouldn't even come down to purse bid. It shouldn't come down to that. Your promoter should be the one going to make that fight happen. And now with him being kind of in no man's land with no promoter, it's going to be interesting to see what he do next, man. And I'm hearing things behind the scenes. I'm hearing that they want to make the David Benavidez fight. Even Sampson, I've heard Sampson come out previously and say that he wasn't interested in that fight because Boo Boo, he's not an exciting fighter. He moved, basically he said he moves too much. That's really what Sampson said. But even after that, recently, within probably the last week, he came out and said that they would be interested in making Boo Boo versus Benavidez. I want to see that fight. And I wish that Boo Boo had more backing behind him, because right now, like I say, I feel like he's in no man's land with not having a true promoter, not having true backing. And when you're in that situation, these type of situations happen, bro, where niggas gonna come in and bid the bare minimum to pick your shit up.
I'll say this though, this is very, because I'm gonna pass it to Zen soon, because I'm gonna know his.
And real quick, salute to my brother Goose, man. Salute to you, Zen. Salute to you as well, man. Much love to y'all, man. Much love.
So I do want to say this. I'm like, let's be 100. How many times have we seen this happen to a prominent name? How many times have we seen a bid this low? Like, let's be 100 to a prominent name. I don't care what y'all got to say about Andrade. If you don't like his style, if you like it, whatever the case may be, he's undefeated. He's had the WBO belt for a long time at the middleweight division. At the end of the day, how many times have you seen someone bid this low for a name like Demetrius Andrade? I don't care how you feel about him personally. So in that sense, I gotta disagree with you, Dub. This is rare to me, because this is borderline disrespectful. But there is another name that I can bring up that it happened to, and he was supposed to fight 2 times. It was Tevin Farmer. Tevin Farmer and Mickey Bay was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen because the money wasn't right. What is the commonality between those two? And I keep on preaching it. Eddie Hearn is a great promoter. There was a couple years in a row I said he should be the promoter of the year. But when he tried to break into that American market and he signed these guys like a Tevin Farmer, Andrade, thinking that he was going to change the whole world, saying pay-per-view was dead, he screwed them 2 guys over, and you see where their career is at right now. I think that Demetrius Andrade has a much higher chance to, I think he's still in the running. He's good. He's gonna be fine. But I'm just saying that is a commonality between Tevin Farmer and Demetrius Andrade, both of them being in a very similar situation right now. But go ahead. I think Dub wanted to respond.
No, go ahead, Zen, and then I'll respond after Zen, man.
All right. Anything, and my point is just like anything about the whole situation. How do you feel about this whole Demetrius Andrade pulling out from Zach Parker? Whole lot of disrespect going Demetrius Andrade's way. Is it justified?
All I know is all Flu's favorite fighters all in pull out this shit. I don't know what's going on.
Don't do it, Zen. Don't do it, Zen. Don't do it.
It's courage right now, man. I'm like, yo, what is going on, man? All that nigga favorite fighters, nigga, is getting pulled out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, I don't know. That shit is weird to me. I'm like, why this always happen to my nigga Flu? I'm telling you, man. Back in the day, nigga, we used to have niggas come through on the special side of the game, special guests. I'm telling you, nigga, this nigga right here about to go crazy. We watching the fight, we like I'm telling y'all, nigga, he's better than this. I don't know what's going on, nigga.
Hey, wait a minute, man. So what you telling me is my nigga Goose, man. Hey, what you telling me that he respectfully, he picked some horrible. Well, I ain't gonna say horrible. He ain't picking the right fighters, bro. That's what you telling me. He ain't picking the right ones.
I mean, you like who you like. It's just peculiar that I don't know. They just stuff just don't be like in their favor or something. That'd be weird. Like Tevin Farmer, like after he lost to what was his name? Jose Jojo Diaz, Coco Diaz? Jojo. Yeah, after he lost to Jojo, he ain't fought again. He just stopped fighting.
They call him Coco Diaz too, though. They call him Coco Diaz too.
Oh, okay. And then after AB fought that one dude, I don't even remember the dude's name. He ain't fought again. And then Boo Boo just can't get a good fight. It's like,
wait, hold on. In my defense, though, you going for AB and you going for Tevin Farmer. Like, look, at least Andrade, he's been in the ring. He ain't lost. It's not like he's had a long delay. And then also too, let's not. I don't know why I gotta say this again, but a special heavyweight won this last weekend that I've been rooting for a long time. And I told you. But anyway,
Joyce is probably the best thing going for you for sure.
I like Joe Joyce. I like Joe Joyce, and I thought I think we all agreed. You feel me? I think we all agreed that he was gonna stop Joseph Parker. I think we agreed on that.
That was a rare agreement. I had people in my comment section telling me I was crazy for even thinking that Joe Joyce had a chance.
Did you make your gloat video?
I did. I made my glow video. It was a short. I did it as a short, so it was only like 59 seconds. But I did it.
Okay. I was about to say, I'm like, you better have glowed it, dog, because Blue ain't had to up and up all the time. But that one, he was correct. Everybody was giving him that smoke.
Well, see, I don't want to go too off topic, but I'm like, hey, I'm just hoping Andrade. My bad, Doug. I'm gonna let you get in there, but I'm hoping Demetrius Andrade has a chance to shine, because I'm like, people want to say nobody knows who Andrade is, but when I post videos about him, he gets the most hate out of everybody. More than Canelo, more than Terrence Crawford, Earl Spence. I'd be like, man, people want Andrade to fail.
That nigga ain't Boo Boo in Fight Night champion though. Oh, you
know, bruh, Boo Boo ain't gonna get the big fights, bruh. And let me tell you why.
Is he hurt? Is that why he put out?
No, he ain't hurt. Hell no, he ain't getting paid enough. That's why he pulled out. Which I respect. I respect it. My thing,
go ahead.
My thing is he ain't gonna get the big fights, because with him moving to, I believe, 68 now. You know what I'm saying? And I believe the fight with Parker was supposed to be at 68. With him moving there, the problem is he ain't got no backing, bro. You got to have backing in the sport of boxing. You got to have a network. You got to have a team, because if you don't, then if your shit go to purse bid, this is the type of shit that can happen. And with Boo Boo, because the biggest fights for him are over at the PBC. That's where they're at. Because he fucked the fight up with Charlo, the male Charlo. When he fucked that fight up, bro, one thing about and people, they love Al Heyman.
How you gonna say he set up?
He pulled out the fight a week before the fight.
Yeah, but there's if you listen to his side, you know, there's three sides to every story. If you listen to Andrade's side, that's not how it was. They said the contract wasn't right, the money wasn't right. They said Al Heyman was trying to shade him.
I'm not disagreeing with that. What I am saying is this, and this was my whole point of saying what I said. When, like I said, the biggest fights for him right now with the PBC, and because they're there, and he fucked the money up the time with Mel Charlo, Al Heyman, and people they love Al Heyman. Al Heyman, he okay. You feel me? He okay, but I'm not a big fan of him myself. I know he always, a lot of times when he gets fighters over there, he want to sign you for multi-fight deals. Bob Arum want to do the same thing. You feel me? So Bob, Al, I look at him the same way, in my opinion. Even Eddie Hearn, I think Eddie Hearn does it a little better because I don't think he's always trying to get the multiple fight deals with you. He will put you on, but at the same time.
But Eddie Hearn is smart in getting someone after they had a successful career. He hasn't done anything for any American fighter. Name me one American fighter Eddie Hearn has done.
He did a lot for Devin Haney.
He only did a lot for Devin Haney because he got him after he was Devin Haney was a prodigy. He's like a child star for boxing. He was already established in the U.S. Eddie Hearn didn't put him on. Eddie Hearn, I didn't say paid him that much money so more Americans could know about him. That's why he was fine with him going over the top rank.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing. What I'm saying is
a great promoter for paying fighters, but is a cap artist.
But this is the problem. It's not Eddie Hearn ain't the problem in this situation. The problem is because the biggest fight, and one thing we always have to look at when we look at the sport of boxing, we have to look at which promotional brand controls which divisions, right? And we know that's what they go for. If you look at, and now it's kind of changing, to be honest. If you look at 35, right now, Bob Arum and Top Rank, they control 35. Bob Arum and Top Rank controls somewhat of 40, but not nearly like the way they controlled it after what's my boy name? Josh Taylor, when he started dropping belts. Now you got
Josh Taylor is MIA right now, so I'm like that.
But the thing is so what you work to do as a promoter in the sport of boxing is to control divisions. And so Eddie Hearn, because he's unable to control divisions the way these other people are, and now he's doing a decent job at 60. You know what I'm saying? But even then, what did he have to do? He got to go get Eubanks to fight Conor Benn. Go ahead.
Let me say this because I'm interject because I want Zen to get his opinion in when it comes to this particular topic. So, well, first, do you have a response? Do you have anything you want to touch on everything that just been said? Since you haven't said nothing. Okay, all right. Just wanted to make sure. I thought you. So, all right. My question is, when it comes to how people are seeing this particular, scenario between Demetrius Andrade and Zach Parker, and I hear exactly what you're saying, Dub. You're saying, okay, all right, he doesn't have a representative right now. He's not behind a big, machine. There's nobody pushing him. Is there a possible perspective, or is there a possible, thought process coming from the Andrade camp where they're saying, all right, we see a guy like Terrence Crawford, he's not signing with anybody quick. He's seeing he's filling out his offers. He's filling out what he can see. And we see a guy like Canelo. We saw what Canelo was able to do. We see what Triple G was able to do. I'm not saying that Andrade is in that same frame. I'm not saying he's in that same level. I'm not saying he's in that same popularity. But like I said before, a lot of people hate Andrade. They may not love him. A lot of people hate him. So are they trying to test, okay, what can we do without being behind a major, promoter, a major machine? All right, this is what we were able to do. I'm not very happy with it. But so is that a possibility? Like, do you really think that no one's really offering them anything? You don't think Top Rank is knocking at their door? You don't think You see Frank Warren trying to get him, etc. Like that's basically my question. Or do you think he's really left out to dry where no one wants him and he has to do this, or do you think this is his choice? That's so. I want to hear from Zen first on the question.
I don't know. I mean, usually when you do it, you have your own promotion. Like when AB was kind of trying to do it, he had AB Promotions. Like dudes will get their own promotion company. Like he doesn't even have something like that. So it's like, if he was going to do that, he would have that at least. Like, I mean, Floyd was promoting his own fights, but he was doing a deal with Al Heyman at the same time. You know what I mean? But it was still, he was getting a lot more of the money because he was promoting his own fights. But for Boo Boo, it's like, he just need to talk more shit. I just be like, look, Charlie, you a bitch. You suck. I'll whoop that ass. I just start talking shit about everybody and just go that route. If that's the way you want to promote your fights, you got to just be your own promoter. Like, at the time, Ali didn't need no damn Don King. Don King just came in and was able just to be more of more of a talker. You know what I'm saying? You got two niggas that can talk good now. You feel me? So, like, but in totality, though, Ali didn't need that nigga to sell no fight. That nigga was selling fights and winning championship before he even met Don King. It wasn't until that nigga went through that draft and he came back and he's like, okay, well, my juice isn't what it used to be now. Now I'm looking at a criminal in my own country and I ain't do nothing. So, he was, but, he's more and more hated, more so because he didn't go. So now Don King can help me get a fight like George Foreman, Rumble in the Jungle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But so it's like for Boo Boo, it's like, now you got social media. Like all you got to do is just, whenever you see Jamal, let him know, like, I want to smoke. But you got to be, little out of character. You know what I'm saying? I know that might not be your persona. You laid back, you chill, you just go in there, you go get your work done. But if you're going to go this route, you're going to have to spice something up. You can't be born in both aspects without nobody saying that you this. Unfortunately.
All right, and Dub, how do you feel? I respect that response. So you're basically saying, look, I respect you, Andrade, you're doing your thing, but he got to take some type of accountability. There is some blame coming on Andrade's side for him to be in
just like it's like DC, right? He was born probably often in the ring, what people could say, right? But he had a nigga like Dana White that was gonna make the fight every time. So it's like it didn't matter. But if DC, say if you had you had some independent contractor type of deal, he might not get that John Jones fight or something. He might not get them certain type of fights because he's just not he's just that's not his thing. He does, only John's the only nigga he ever really talked just big shit about. That's the only dude I remember. Unless you can tell me somebody else, I never really saw him get up on the mic and get to talking crazy. So I'm just like, if you gonna not talk crazy, you gotta have somebody back you. You feel me?
That's a great.
And this is the thing. The thing is for Boo Boo, man. With the way, so with the UFC, bro, is different because everybody's under one promotional brand, right? Everybody's under one brand. And so it's a little different there. When you have the sides of the street, quote unquote, that you have in the sport of boxing, if you don't have a major, and you tell me, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, and please give me the fighter, even somebody like a Devin Haney, who everybody would say that, yeah, he got his own company, but what he doing? He doing co-promotional deals with these companies. And so for Boo Boo, I think the biggest mistake he made was, once again, the young Charlo fight, pulling out of that fight, regardless of the reasoning for it. Regardless, one thing, I don't know how much y'all know about Al Heyman. The man, he's a very, respectfully to him, but he's a spiteful individual. If you fuck him, then he gonna hold it against you damn near as long as he can. And in this situation with the big fights over there, with the PBC, that's where you're gonna have to go to make those fights happen. And Al, he not looking to make that deal with you. And when he's freezing you out, it's the same thing if you fight at top rank, or let me rephrase that. If you fight at 35 and you want to fight Lomachenko, right? Well, if you being froze out because you done fucked up a deal with Bob Arum, they not finna make that fight happen for you. They not finna give you that opportunity. And that's where I think Boo Boo is in his career. And last thing I want to say is, you look at somebody like Lomachenko. Lomachenko and Boo Boo are very similar fighters. You know what I'm saying? As far as using footwork, I ain't saying they're the same. I ain't saying they're the same. I see Z's face. He was like, "What the hell he talking about?"
See, I didn't show it, but I was like, if I see Zed, I was like, I know it was expressive, but I agree with him there. I don't see them as the same fighter.
I'm saying that at the end of the day, one thing that you've seen with Lomachenko is he stuck with Bob Arum very consistently, and Bob took him in damn near like a son. Whereas Boo Boo didn't have that. He hadn't ingratiated himself with the promotional brand the way Lomachenko has. And so now when it comes down to him making the big fights at 34, you got you seen what happened. Niggas ain't bidding on it. And you know if it's, I don't know what it's out of, but it may be out of spite, it may be out of whatever it is. They not bidding on shit, so you didn't put yourself in the right position. So I gotta put it on. Boo Boo.
You know, I feel like you being really short-sighted right now.
I know. I was like, come on, bro. Like, I like Boo Boo. He might not be my favorite fighter right now, like top favorite fighter, but like I like Boo Boo. I like watching Boo Boo. I've been known about Boo Boo for forever because my daddy used to watch him.
Wait, let him get it off, Dub. Let him get it off.
But you making it seem so easy. You can't compare Loma to this nigga because Loma has a whole damn country behind him. There's so much money to be made just for him having that. You feel me? And he has, a lighter complexion. Let's not forget that. So don't make it seem like Bob Arum just grabbed him because he saw him as a son. No, that nigga saw the nigga as some dollar signs. Same thing with Bud Crawford. That's why he's giving that nigga all that money. Because he like, nigga, you gonna make my roster look good, and you the only nigga that can beat Spence in that division. So if I got you on my side, it's gonna make me look better. For Boo Boo, he got the short end of the stick because he was in a division that was booming. He didn't have a twin brother to make himself popular. He didn't have a whole country like Mexico to make himself more, and then get a Floyd fight. He didn't have Triple G having a whole country in Russia behind him. You got countries behind these people, or you got something that's stimulating the attraction. When it came to Boo Boo, nigga got dreads. Nigga don't talk like a regular nigga, but he's a nigga. So it's like, you got to remember, he has that nigga aspect, and he doesn't have what you'll call like a one knockout power punch. You feel me? The difference between Boo Boo and anybody that was successful with the type of skill he got is the niggas that were successful was talking that shit. Floyd talking that shit. AB talking that shit. Bro. He's just not a nigga that's just talking big shit to the media. Like, he'll say his stuff, but it's not like he not doing any antics. You feel me? Billy Joe Saunders, he had antics. Tyson Fury, he has antics. Like, niggas be having antics.
Real quick, this is all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let y'all keep going back and forth. I'm happy you said Billy Joe Saunders, because think about if that fight would have actually happened and Andrade would have worked him. His whole Eddie Hearn and Demetrius Andrade's relationship would have been completely different. He would have had a mark in the U.S. Remember that. Eddie Hearn did get him that fight. That would have been a big fight at the time. Billy Joe popped for steroids. Never happened. He was scared. But I'm gonna leave it at that.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, Zan. I'm not disagreeing at all. The thing is and once again, I got to go back to looking at the divisions, bro. When I look at the divisions, there are certain companies who control divisions. It is what it is. And because of that, you got to align yourself with that company if you want the big fights. Think about this. And I'm going to give you a prime example of what I'm talking about.
Who owns the middleweight division then?
Right now?
Yeah, you saying companies own divisions.
Well, Boo Boo has moved up to 68, so it's the super middle or super middle. If we're just talking middleweight division, honestly, it's very interesting because, and that's one of the problems I have with him signing with Eddie Hearn and the Triple G fight never happening. You know what I'm saying? Because at middleweight, the Triple G fight, that's the fight that should have happened. The Murata fight, that's the fight that should have happened. Both of those fights should have taken place with him being at 60. Now that he's moved up to 68, who controls that division? It's clear that the PBC controls that division because they have the David Benavidez. It seems like they're going to go and with Eddie Hearn saying that he's not going to re-sign and make another multi-fight deal with Canelo. It seems like Canelo is going to end up signing over with the PBC. I could be wrong. Maybe that doesn't happen, but that's what it seems like is going to happen. And so right now, I got to say that at 68, PBC controls that division. One of the reasons I didn't think Boo Boo should have moved up. He did somewhat push for the Triple G fight, but Triple G was protected by Eddie Hearn them. Why was he protected? Because they had signed his ass to Hell, he got signed to a contract. Even Canelo didn't get goddamn signed to. He getting paid shit that niggas ain't got paid over with the zone. You feel me? And so I think Triple G is a anomaly, but at the same time, you could have and you could have fought Jenna Beck, bro. It was fights there for you, and I wanted to see those fights. At the end of the day, I'm not mad at him moving up. My problem is when he moved up, he moved into the PBC realm, and I hope that it happens this way, but I really don't think that Al Heyman is looking to do business with that team just because of the shit that didn't happen previously. And because of that, I got smoke for Al Heyman. I got smoke for Boo Boo.
Can I say this real quick though?
In my opinion.
Can I say this real quick though? Does Boo Boo have to be successful, or is his only path to success for the rest of his career through Al Heyman and PBC? You don't think he can sign with Golden Boy Promotions? You don't think he can sign with Top Rank? Shit, what if Frank Warren offers himself? I know he's probably not looking at that being the pathway. I do think we're going to end up seeing Boo Boo Promotions. That's my personal opinion. He's going to co-promote with somebody. But do you think his only pathway to success for the rest of his career is to sign with Al Heyman?
But the problem is who does Top Rank have? Who does Frank Warren have at 68?
It's not about that because this is
because his fights are what he's looking for.
Hear me out on this. The reason why it's not about that is because this is what I was arguing earlier in the stream when I was just basically just talking to myself. I was saying, hey, people were coming at Demetrius Andrade and saying, who are you going to fight? Who's there to fight? Who can you fight? Everything is based around Canelo. Well, if we're talking about the middleweight division, if we're talking about the super middleweight division, at the end of the day, look, no one's really fought anybody other than Canelo. Canelo's the one with the best resume there. Everyone else doesn't really have anybody on their resume we can go crazy for. I'm even talking about the Triple Gs. I'm even talking about Arizlanda Lara will probably be the only person that we can say, and he just moved up to 160. Like, who is Jamal Charlo fought? Who is David Benavidez fought up to this point?
I'm not disagreeing with who those guys, and if we want to get into who these guys, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing with that point. All I'm saying is for Boo Boo to get the big fights, he's going to have to sign a deal with Al Heyman. Even now, when they talk about Bud Crawford, right? Salute to my brother OTB. That's my brother, man. Man, when
OTB, I think this might be the first time you're up in here, man. Salute to you. Appreciate you, bro. Showing love, man. Salute.
But when they talk about the big fights over there, right? The thing that you have to look at is the big fights at 60 right now. If it really depends on what Canelo does, but with Eddie Hearn saying that he ain't looking to make or re-sign Canelo, it seems like Canelo's going to go over and sign a deal, and it seems like Triple G, because I'm hearing rumblings behind the scene. I think we talked about this before. I'm hearing rumblings behind the scene that Triple G going to look to make a 3-fight deal over with the PBC as well. That's who he's going to have to do business with, Boo Boo. And the problem is the same way with Bud, bro. Right now, one of the major holdups in the signing that I've been hearing is that Al Heyman wants Bud to sign a multi-fight deal with him. Al Heyman always claims to be, he's not a promoter, he's an advisor, but he wants him to sign a multi-fight deal.
He's a promoter. Let's not cap on that. There's a reason, but real quick, I want to ask Zen on this. How do you feel about,
go ahead.
Let me ask Zen. Let him chime in. Do you agree with Dub? Do you feel like the only way Andrade has any success is that he needs to sign with Al Heyman and PBC?
I mean, if he's gonna be quiet and he's not gonna talk no shit, he gonna have to do something else. But if he can change the narrative and he can get to talking and he can get to doing all that, like, because you gotta remember, bro, as much as we can appreciate a nigga like Boo Boo, bro, it's like a nigga like in basketball, bro. We could be like a nigga like Josh Howard is nice, but a nigga like what's a good example, nigga? Like
Melo.
I don't know, but basically I'm just saying, like, just because a nigga nice doesn't mean he gonna get the praise he deserves. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? The niggas that are just nasty, you feel me? Like
Michael Red
don't gotta talk because he got the Floyd fight. So from now on and since then, it's all been like, oh well, shit, he ain't lost to nobody but the greatest or one of the GOATs. So it's like that's his thing, like Wilder. Niggas fuck with him just because he got that knockout power. It's like we can appreciate that, but remember, boxing is so weird. Like niggas don't be appreciative of shit. Like think about it, niggas is more hyped to watch a nigga like Nick Young and Adrian Peterson and all them, like, no disrespect to none of them niggas, but like, why are you more excited to watch that and you gonna tell me a nigga like Boo Boo boring? That don't make no sense. But that shows that he's not nigga that can really sell a fight that good though. And that's the only thing that's his downfall. So it's like Floyd. That's what I'm saying. Once he became his own promoter, he could sell that fight, even though he did a co-pro deal with Al Haney. Al Haney really didn't do much. It was all Floyd. So Floyd was selling the fights. AB, that's why he was still getting millions of dollars, even if he lost to Madonna, then he lost to Sean Porter. He's still getting $1 million fights because he can sell a fight. He know how to talk that
real
talk.
Quick, can I add to that point real quick? I think that's why it benefited Floyd so much more than AB though. Signing with Al Heyman, because like Dub Rice, I said, Al Heyman presents himself as hey, I'm not a promoter, I'm an advisor. Floyd went away from Bob because he felt like you were trying to be too controlling on what I wanted to do. That worked for Floyd. AB, he needed more of a promoter, someone to be in control. But yeah, go ahead. So
and if you look at how, and I got to give Al Heyman credit. I got to give him credit because if you look at the top of his stable, right? If you look at the top of it, what do? They all go create their own promotional companies, quote unquote, and then try to co-promote with who? Tom Brown or Sampson. Those are really the two main promoters for the PBC. And so it's interesting just how it plays out. But I still have to say that because Boo Boo did what he did in that Charlo fight, regardless of what happened, people always say Al Heyman Al Heyman, he will hold a grip.
Fair though, Dub. Like, I hate when people bring up that fight because
hold on, Goose. Can I got one thing to tell you. Go ahead. One thing to tell you. You said it's not fair. Nigga, fair is a place they judge pigs, bro. That's what fair is. Fair has nothing to do with the sport of boxing. A lot of this shit ain't fair. And the way that they treat Boo Boo, I agree it's not fair, but at the same time, it's the reality. And because it's the reality, what I had to do is I got to pull myself out of my feelings for a fighter and say, okay, how do people move and who's going to rock with them? And right now, the way Boo Boo is moving, he ain't got shit behind him, bro. He has nothing behind him. When you don't have shit behind you, you get a 300 or 305K purse bid, bro. That's what you get when you don't have shit behind you.
That Boo Boo probably the realest nigga in the game. All these other niggas is cap ass niggas. Can we say that? Can we say all these niggas is going up to Master and saying, "Oh, Master, you so great, Master, you this," and sucking them up behind the scenes? And Boo Boo like, I ain't doing none of that, nigga. I'm a good ass boxer. Anybody want that, come get it. The Charlo brothers talk all that shit. I like Jamel and all that, but I'm like, nigga, let's be real though.
Say Jamal. No, Jamel's proven. Jamel's done what he's supposed to do. Jamal, that nigga don't got no room to talk. He ain't fought nobody.
Bro, Jamal, he a bitch,
talk
bro.
About that. Nobody talk about that. Y'all want to talk about Andrade be ducking people? He not really. I'm like, Andrade, Jamal duck Selecki. I ain't saying that. Selecki would beat my ass, but Andrade, how y'all gonna talk shit about Andrade? I'm like, Andrade put a showcase on
Selecki, bro. But he fought Selecki too.
That's my point. He fought him. Charlo did it. Nigga, that's my point. I don't give a fuck if it was scheduled. If it was gonna happen the next day, he didn't fight him, but nobody talks about it. It just goes unknown.
David Benavidez, he's young, but it's not like that nigga didn't challenge himself.
Bruh, that's what I'm saying.
Born as hell.
So that'd be my main point when I be saying, salute to OTB Boxing School. He said, I used to be OTB Boxing Class 101. I do remember that. Okay, bet you changed your name.
But OTB is my brother, bro. Like,
side of the game.
OTB, I really know OTB. Go ahead.
I remember the old names, like it's snipers, you know what I'm saying? But salute to, he Trinidad. But anyways, but that'd be my whole point. I just be feeling like, where is this crazy criticism coming at, you know what I'm saying, Demetrius on the draw? And I know we've been going crazy on this topic. I said earlier I didn't want to drag this out because there is another good topic that needs to be touched on, and in the particulars when it comes to 135 division. We got Ryan Garcia talking shit to Shakira Stevenson. Shakira Stevenson talking to Ryan Garcia. Supposedly Gervonta Davis snatched Ryan Garcia's chain. I don't know if any of that's true, but we don't get on that. But what I'm saying right now is like the disrespect that's coming for Demetrius. My bad. Go ahead. You said something?
I just said he snatched that nigga chain like Steve Francis.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's true. That's facts. That's allegedly. But
go ahead, Goose. I want to cook on what you just brought. I want to cook on it, but go ahead, Goose. Finish your shit.
Well, I want us to finish out the Demetrius Andrade, Zach Parker debate. I'm like, at the end of the day, me personally, like my last thoughts on the whole entire situation when it comes to this is, I think Demetrius Andrade isn't what people are trying to make him out to be. What do I mean by that? I agree with Zen in the sense of he gonna be a real nigga. He gonna be himself. He not gonna act no type of way. He gonna be Brooklyn. He gonna be who he is. His father has been in his corner. He's the one who raised him up. That's who he's gonna be. He's not gonna change. That's what it's about. It doesn't matter what the situation is. Now that can be detrimental financially, but Demetrius Andrade is at a point in his career where financially it don't matter no more for him. Because regardless if you say popularity-wise, he made the wrong decision going with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn paid him that bag every fight. Even though we didn't know who he was fighting, Eddie Hearn said, here's the bag I promised you, sir. So he's not hurting financially. He's good with the money. So at this point, he has to make the right decisions that work for his career. But, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to what he's doing, at this point, it's going to be crucial to, you know, what his next decision is. Because him bowing out of the Zach Parker fight financially, I do respect it. But I still will criticize him and say, just like I said earlier, you was getting that bag from Eddie. I think it would have been okay for you to make a sacrifice one time. I know it might seem like a disrespect, but I think that could have been your statement. Super middleweight, first move up, 28-year-old, undefeated, power. I knock him out, third round. Now I'm the mandatory for Canelo at the WBO. You feel me? Interim championship belt. I think that was a risk worth taking. But I understand.
I hear you. I hear what you're saying. The problem is he ain't take that risk. The problem is that at the end of the day, the way he moved wasn't wasn't conducive to his success. He moved in the wrong way, bro, and it is what it is, man. You know, man. Because I understand, and the same way, bro, I know y'all understand the sport of boxing. Y'all understand the business of boxing. If you don't move accordingly in the business, bro, you can get yourself in trouble. You can really get yourself in trouble.
Business, period. It's not just boxing. Like, it is.
Facts. And so I feel like the way he's moved, and with him being the age that he's at right now, he done put himself in trouble, and a lot of those big fights that he wants to make, he gonna have to kowtow and lick feet respectfully to him to make those big fights happen. And I don't think he's gonna do that. And so I don't think the big fights are gonna be made for him.
How you feel, Zach? What's your last thoughts on the Demetrius Andrade, Zach Parker situation?
Yeah, man, Boo Boo just getting old, bro. Time is not on his side, nigga. In a minute, he gonna look up. He gonna be 38 years old. Like, nigga, if he don't get it going now, nigga, he gonna mess up all his prime years, and it's gonna just be like I'm just fighting because I love to do this shit, but not because he's beating niggas to make his legacy greater. So it's like, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's like, are you gonna put your pride aside and, you know, have to take it on the chin? Because I'm like, you know, it could be worse. You could be fighting in the 60s when niggas is throwing popcorn at your ass because you beating up a white person. All I'm saying is fighting for a little less money isn't that bad. You feel me? But if
especially when you already got it.
Bet. But I'm like, if you're going to do that, have something. I hope he has something in place. So I don't want to, because, you know, some niggas, you know, move in silence. So it's like, I don't want to make it seem like he ain't got nothing planned out for himself, you feel me? Because I don't want to disrespect his intelligence. But usually if you're going to do something like that, like a Flu, like right now, you know, and this is, it's hypothetical. I don't want to get nobody, you know, coming at you or whatever. But like right now, if a nigga was like, yo, Flu, you know, want you to come and, you know, do woo-doo, and you feel me? It look good and shit on the resume. And you just like, nah, I don't want to go do that. So everybody's like, this nigga's tripping, man. I'd have did that. And why you do that? Oh, that nigga scared of successor. But the whole time, you could have been like, shit, I got something way better than that up my sleeve, nigga. So I'm going to let all these niggas talk. I'm going to let all these niggas hate. And then when I pull out this motherfucking ace out my sleeve, nigga, and win the fucking game, niggas going to be like, damn, I did not see that shit coming. So that's what I hope he's doing. So it's like, you know, as far as Al Heyman, all that shit, when it comes to business, nigga, if you holding a grudge for business, nigga, shit. That nigga, Don King, nigga, did a deal with Frank Warren, nigga, and only thing he was doing was holding that nigga purse, but he still made the damn fight, though. So, grudge or no grudge, business will be conducted if it makes sense.
And nigga still want his money back, though.
You feel what I'm saying? But business is still being conducted because he still made money. He just want the money on top of the money he's owed. So allegedly, I don't know. Don King owed, so that nigga might forgot he got paid, nigga.
Shout out to Don King, man. Shout out to Don King, man.
Fuck Don King.
The most cricket, the most one of the most cricket promoters of all time. But hey, Mike Tyson, me and Mike Tyson, we got the same birthday, and brought with Mike, and Mike, Mike said, man, the nigga, hey, I love Don. This is what Mike said. I love Don, but the nigga still too much. He's still way too damn much. So, hey, it is what it is, man. We know who Don King gonna be, man. But that's all. All of these
letting go that Frank Warren judge, debt. Excuse me. He's not letting go that Frank Warren debt. He's like, man, you still owe me. I need that money. He said, like that. All right, look. All right, salute to the people, man. Salute to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Last words on the Demetrius, Andrade, Zach Parker. Look, y'all stop coming for me for that. My opinion on that whole entire situation, but we're gonna go ahead and move on. You know what I'm saying? Because there's another topic that needs to be talked about. You know what I'm saying? And I'm very interested to see Dub Right Side's opinion on the whole entire situation. I'm interested to see about Young Zen's, you know what I'm saying, entire perspective on the situation. We got Ron Garcia and Shakir. They're going back and forth on Twitter. And then I'm also interested to hear what y'all think about, Gervonta Davis and, Ron Garcia supposedly, they saw each other in the club. I don't know if this is just fake or whatever, but they saw each other in the club. And, Ron Garcia came up, say what's up, you know what I'm saying? Be cool, as most of us high desert niggas is. And Gervonta Davis just snatched his chain, supposedly. And Gervonta Davis had some words. But before we get into that, I want to know how y'all feel about Ron Garcia, Shakira Stevenson going back and forth. I'm going to pull up the video so you guys can see exactly what they're talking about. But
that's what Boo Boo need to be motherfucking taking a page out the book. That's what he need to be doing. He needs to be going to these niggas' Twitters and going on Instagram, posting. He need to get on his 50 Cent. That's what he need to do. You see when 50 Cent was on that nigga Floyd head? That nigga was going crazy, boy. That nigga was posting Nelly, nigga. I said, why this nigga posting Nelly, boy? Talking about you mad at.
Can't read.
Oh, man.
Nigga read, didn't he? Hey, it is what it is, man. Boo Boo he gotta go get some smoke, bro. He gotta go get some smoke.
Y'all stop coming at y'all stop coming at Boo Boo, man. Let that man live. I want to know what y'all think about Shakira Stevenson and Ron Garcia. Like, say Shakira. Okay, supposedly Shakira Stevenson is supposed to be moving. Let me ask this in a very clear, concise way, however you see it, so I can get an answer from both of y'all. All right, Shakira Stevenson just had to win. Obviously, me personally wasn't necessarily impressed. Dub, you were impressed. Zen, not necessarily impressed, but he got the win. He missed weight. Lost his belts. Me personally, I thought it was purposely. Obviously, he's going to move up to 135. That's what he's saying he's going to do. He is now getting into a back and forth with Ryan Garcia. They're having some words, and I'm going to pull that up so you guys can see exactly what they had to say, right? But before we even do that, how do you guys feel about if there was a possibility of Ryan Garcia versus Shakira Stevenson happening? How do you think that would go? What's your speculation, man? I know this is a what-if land right here. This is fantasy world. This is what, what I'm saying, fairy tales. But if Shakira Stevenson and Ryan Garcia were to fight, how do you think that would go?
Shakir's just promoting his next fight. I mean, if they were to fight right now, it's interesting because I'm like, I want to be in Ryan's corner, but it's like I still haven't really seen, because I'm like, even Ryan's, not his last fight, but the fight before last was so boring. We turned it off. It was boring, bro. You can't even deny that fact. It was boring, bro. It went all 12 rounds. We was even disappointed in that regard. We like, what? He going 12 rounds with this dude, and he wasn't even prepared for the fight?
You talking about Tego?
Yeah.
Taco? Whatever his name is, respectfully.
Yeah. So I'm just nervous, but I'm like, I think he could beat Shakur, but it's like, what if Shakur has that Terrence Crawford when he get up in weight, he get back more power or something, I don't know, because I'm like, Shakur is not weak and he's a southpaw. So it's like those type of guys that are skilled and southpaws seem to be very, very dangerous, as we can see. You know what I'm saying? Luis Ortiz, before his prime and that age to a 50-year-old man, crept up on him. Motherfucker was deadly in that southpaw, stance. You know what I'm saying? He was giving everybody that work. So I'm just like, you feel me? Bud, when he goes southpaw, he give everybody that work. You know what I'm saying? Gervonta, he give everybody that work. So it's like, southpaws are undefeated right now for the most part. So it's like, Ryan, I don't know how he'll adapt because he hasn't found a southpaw that skilled. So it's like that, you need to have some experience with at least some southpaws, even if they're not even the greatest.
You doubting Garcia? What's wrong with you, man?
What'd I say?
I said you doubting Garcia. What's wrong with you, man?
I'm not doubting him. But you
disrespect.
But you can't be unrealistic though when you're not exposed to something, bro. Just because you exposed to one thing doesn't mean you can conquer another thing, right? So I'm just being realistic. If I've never played an aggressive defender,
why you think he fought for tuna?
Hold on, but if I've never fought an aggressive defender before, and somebody that likes to reach, and then I finally go against a guy that's very greedy, like we could say like a prime Gary Payton, or maybe a Pat Bev or something like that, very aggressive, just always in my stuff. But before those games, I played them my handle nice. Before I played them, my handle's just looking super nice, and I'm nice with it. But then when I get up in there, I'm losing the ball. I got 8 turnovers. I'm just looking crazy. You get what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say that he not a great boxer and he not gonna maybe hit Shakira or something, but it's like those dudes are, they're on a different level mentally, IQ, all that. I'm pretty sure they can take a punch. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they just got glass chin. So it's like Ryan can't just think like, oh, I got power, I'm gonna just get you up out of here. Because it's like I haven't seen his power just be that devastating. Because if it was, he'd have got that boy Tago out.
That's disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just being realistic.
How you feel about that, Dub? I know you got limited time, but how you feel about the likelihood of? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the possibility of going back and forth. I'm gonna pull it up, but Shakira Stevenson versus Ryan Garcia. How you feel about that?
Man, I want to hear, and just being transparent, I hadn't heard what they got going on, so I want to hear it. I will say that at the same time, matter of fact, I want to hear what they got going on. I will say I got one thing I want to say before you play it. Ryan Garcia, they say that Tank went and snatched his shit in Miami and all that kind of shit, bro. And Ryan, he called the cops on his ass, this, that, whatever. Ryan did the right motherfucking thing. He did the right motherfucking thing. Yeah, we ain't in the ring, nigga. Don't put your hands on me. Nah, nigga. We ain't finna do none of that. We ain't finna do none of that. And I ain't like shit, but man, I don't
care how much y'all gonna criticize this, man. Look, hey, Ryan Garcia from the same spot me and Zen from. High Desert.
Where is that at? Where are y'all from, bro?
High Desert, nigga from. I don't think he's from Victorville. I think he
was born.
Was he born in Victorville?
Where is
Victorville? But I think he grew up in Hesperia.
Where is that at?
But he grew up in Hesperia. It's Hesperia, Victorville, Apple Valley. It's all 5-10 miles away. It's right next to each other.
Where in what country?
California. It's in Cali.
What state?
California, Southern California.
Okay. Bro, I'm in Georgia, bro. So I ain't all the way tapped in the way y'all are, respectfully.
Yeah, no, I'm not there no more, but and neither is him. But I'm like, that's where we grew up. So I'm like, hey, look, we gonna do the right thing. Unless, I'm like, not everybody from that area is gonna do the right thing, but
man. Some niggas is ready on demon time out there, boy.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, nah, but I know the cloth that Ryan Garcia's cut from, so I'm like, hey, look, I don't care what nobody says. Oh, punk shit. If he really did, because I'm gonna get to that a little bit later, because that's the next thing to pull up. If he really did snatch it and supposedly did call the cops, all I'm saying is, look, Gervonta, you putting yourself in a position to lose a bag. You putting yourself in a position where he could sue you. If you're not paying attention right now, but Jorge Masvidal was trying to be on that same, gangster type shit, sucker punch Kobe Covington, and now he's finna lose millions in court fighting that battle right now. Don't be stupid.
Bro, do not go outside of the ring, bro. Don't put your hands on nobody.
And you older than him. That's the part that's fucked up. I'm like, Tank, you 28, bro. 27, 28. Why you over here snatching a 23, 24-year-old kid's chain? And you already got money. What are you trying to prove? I don't support it. There's gonna be a lot of people trying to say that Ryan Garcia is a punk, stuff like that. I'm like, come on, man. That's corny, man. Y'all got money already. What's there to prove? That's my personal opinion. Go ahead. My bad, yo. I know I interrupted a little bit.
Now go play that video. I think you want to hear the video.
Yeah. All right, bet.
Yeah.
Oh, hold up. I gotta put the volume on the right there. All right. I should be able to hear it now.
7. I mean, I don't comment on a lot of fights, but I'm not gonna lie, guys. That fight with Shakur really.
I'm actually playing what he's saying about the Shakira Stevenson fight. Did y'all want to hear this, or did y'all want to hear what he said about the Gervonta Davis situation?
Well, I really don't want to hear what he has to say about the Shakur fight. If you don't mind, I'll respond to that, and then I want to hear what happened with him and Tank. If that's my opinion. But Then if you have a different one, let me know.
But real quick, because I'm like, that's why, because we got a little distracted, but that was the initial, because we was gonna get in the tank and Ryan Garcia, but we got a little. That was actually my fault. I actually deviated away from the original subject. But how would y'all feel about Shakira Stevenson versus Ryan Garcia happening if it did happen? But how you feel, Zan? What you want to do? You want to go? I can skip over this. We can go back.
Man, it's up to you, bro. You had a video you want to play. If you want to play it, play it.
Let me. Go ahead, Doug. If Ryan and Shakur fought, Shakur beats Ryan. Shakur, he's better. He controls this.
He keeps talking shit. He's like, I'm trying to get through this. I want to get through this topic. I want to see what's going on with Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia.
Bro, that ain't even what I want to see, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I don't even want to see that. If it was really up to me, we'll talk about it in a second.
Let me ask you this, because I know because I'm like, Dub, you was the main person coming at me, and then we said that fight was boring. So real quick, let's just see what he has to say. For Shakira Stevenson.
He kind of got me a little pissed off, and not because Shakur won or anything. It's great, he was supposed to win.
I can hear it,
but it's the fact that he got away with the most low blows I've ever seen somebody get away with, and he does it a lot. And nothing against Shakur, but you just can't throw that many low blows without realizing you're throwing low blows. And to me, that ref just missed everything. It was just a horrible display of fouls that you were just like, what is going on here? But again, nothing against Shakur, but man, you gotta keep your punches up. I counted like 100 of them.
This dude's crazy. I
couldn't help but laughing. Ain't no nigga throwing 100 low blows.
Nigga sound like Oscar De La Hoya right there. He been around Oscar too.
Bro, he sounded just like Oscar. That shit low ball disappointed me, nigga. Hey, he ain't from where we from. I was lying, dub. That nigga is. I was like, wait, hold up, nigga. How's the nigga throw 100 low blows?
That was crazy. That nigga ain't with me, bro. He ain't with me, bro.
All right, okay. So, all right. That actually made me mad, low ball. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect him to say that. I'm like, that was Cap Central right there, man. We know he wasn't on that shit. All right.
So, all right, some low blows, but I'm like, that wasn't the deciding factor. It wasn't like them low blows made the fight.
I know, made the fight
effective or something. Like, nigga, he was getting work, nigga.
Yeah, Shakur Stevenson won that fight, nigga. Probably if he would have had a broken hand, man. If he would have tied one hand behind his back. I'm like, low blows ain't had nothing to do with that. You crazy.
I will say this. I criticize Shakur for this in that fight, and I will say I like Robertson Casasio, bro. I like him. I'm a fan of him. At the same time, I'm a bigger fan of Shakur. I love Shakur. Shakur, my second favorite fighter. At the same time, man, I didn't like that because he missed weight. He didn't cut weight the same way that Robertson Casasio cut weight. It seemed like he was able to be the bully in that fight. He was able to kind of use his body and control the fight. I didn't like it just because he didn't push himself. In my opinion, I know what he said, but he didn't push himself to make the weight the way I would expect a champion to do. And because of that, I do hold that to some degree against Shakur, but it didn't matter. I think Shakur would have won that fight regardless.
He's supposed to win the fight, nigga. I hope so. Nigga, you can't move up and lose, nigga.
And I think that's the only reason why he missed weight. I think he just missed weight because he was like, yo, I'm not going to be at 130.
Man, hell no. Hell no. If you're fighting in the division, bro, I'm one of the people, and maybe I'm wrong for the way I think about that shit, but I'm one of the people, I'm like, hell no. If you don't make weight, bro, that shit is unprofessional. And when you got extra time to make the weight, regardless of what you done went through, nigga, at least go attempt to make the weight. This nigga didn't attempt to make the weight. He didn't give a fuck about making the weight. And I have a problem with that. Although I love Shakur as a fighter, I do have a problem with that shit, bro, because at the end of the day, bro, you're a professional, and with Casasio being taller than you, you know what I'm saying, older than you, and making the weight, nah, nigga, go make the weight, bro. If you signed the contract to fight at this weight, and I know he had to give money up, I understand all of that. No, nigga, go make the weight, bro. Make the weight, make it a fair fight. And I can't say it was a fair fight because you didn't do everything you could to cut the weight the same way that Casasio did. And regardless of what you tell me, my body can't. If your body couldn't do it, don't sign the motherfucking contract. You should have moved up before the motherfucking fight, in my opinion.
What's crazy is like that nigga Shakur doesn't even strike me as a nigga that takes that hard to cut that weight. Cause I'm like, when Davis didn't make weight, I'm like, I could tell that nigga a little juicy nigga. So you feel me? I'm like, that makes sense why that nigga can't make weight.
Pause, nigga.
You get what I was saying. That nigga bulky, like he's not a skinny individual. Like he got an AB body. Like AB is very like heavy for his size.
I hate when people say AB ain't disciplined though, because I'm like, that nigga never miss weight. Real quick, I want to salute to Let's Talk About It. What's good with it? If I'm not mistaken, then they weigh the same amount during the fight, 131.6. When it's hard for you to make weight, it's time for you to move up in weight. He also added in, bro, did you ever try to cut weight in a short time and gain more than you use weight? It's hard, very hard. So
he wasn't cutting weight in a short time. This nigga had a whole motherfucking camp to cut the weight.
So y'all know. Next up, I got the Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis timed up to talk about it. But go ahead, y'all go back and then go ahead, Zen. I think you had a point you wanted to finish. Or am I tripping?
I just said that Tank was just bigger, so it's like Shakur doesn't look to me as a person that, you feel me, like that would struggle to make that. If he was focused, bro, he'd have made it. If somebody would have came up to him like, hey nigga, make that weight, you get $1 million extra. Guarantee you he make that weight. So it ain't about what he couldn't do, it's what he didn't want to do. Let's be real.
All right. Let's talk about how do you know he didn't try to cut weight? Everybody had their own way of cutting weight. It's not the first time that he tried to cut weight respectfully, and he followed up with what's good, fellas, my bad. What's good with it? Let's talk about
what's good, my brother. What's good? The reason I know he didn't try to cut the weight.
I gotta use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, y'all.
The reason I say he didn't try to cut the weight is because even with him missing it by what? I think it was 1.3, something like that. With him missing it, he still had 2 hours to go and attempt to cut that weight. And he didn't even take the opportunity to attempt to do that. That's why I say that he didn't try to make the fucking weight. As a champion, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, and if y'all crucify me on it, if y'all cook me on it, I ain't got no problem with it. But the way I look at it is if you sign that contract to fight at 130, bro, you do everything you can to make that weight. If you got those 2 hours, at least go attempt to make the weight. Even if you don't make it, attempt to, and let me know that you're trying to fight at the weight you signed to fight at, which you're not even attempting and saying that, well, my body just can't do it, then what the fuck you signed the contract for to fight the nigga at that weight for, bro? Why would you do that if you knew you couldn't make the weight? And maybe you didn't know. But I will say, from what I've heard, a week before the fight, the nigga was 12 pounds off of weight. You don't go 12 pounds off of weight a week before the fight and not make and not know that you're not fit to make the weight, bro. And so if you knew you weren't going to make the weight, did you allow Robinson Casasio to go in and say, okay, he ain't going to make the weight, so I need to stop cutting? No, you didn't do none of that, bro. Like, man, I look at boxing like I look at golf. I'm a golfer myself. I love to play golf. Golf is what they would call a gentleman's sport. There are certain times in golf where, nigga, I know I done hit this shit out of bounds, bro. I know I done lost my ball. I can't just drop a ball and not say I done lost my shit. Nah, because if I lost my shit, then it's strokes that need to be had there. Same thing with Shakur in boxing. It's a gentleman's sport, and for you not to give this man the heads up with him being the taller fighter, the older fighter, for him to make the weight, you know what I'm saying? And he still made the weight. Nah, I don't like that shit, bro. I don't like it. And I know that could be me being tough, but it's just it's how I look at the sport.
Now you sign something, you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? You don't sign a contract with your work, and they sign you. You feel me? If you're in construction, they want a whole building, and you didn't do 3 floors. And I'm like, nigga, what the rest of the building? Oh, nigga, you know, I got tired. Nigga, I ain't feel like doing the rest. Nigga, I couldn't do it. Nigga, my hands. Like, nigga, then why'd you say you could do it if you couldn't do it? So I mean, I get it for sure. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, all he had to do was go to the sauna or something, nigga, just sit up in there and sweat out that little extra water he had.
Thanks, bro. Casasio said, he was like, bro, whenever I need to lose weight, you know what I'm saying? Especially the day of I go sit in salt water, and I can lose 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds in salt water. Nigga, go do the same thing, bro. If he willing to make the concessions to make the weight, once again, and my problem is he's the older fighter, he's the taller fighter. Let me say, I ain't gonna say bigger, he's the taller fighter. If he's gonna do it, man, make the weight, bro. Go make the weight. I know.
You can't in one breath, you can't argue against Boo Boo talking about money being in place and not being with the right promoter, but then at the same time arguing the Shakira Stevenson case. If your opponent made weight, you got to make weight. The money is behind Shakira. Shakira don't got to make weight. They know what they're doing.
I'm not worried. I'm not, bro. I'm not talking.
Lose all the belts. It don't matter. We still gonna pay you under the table the same amount of money you would have paid if you was a champion. We're moving up the next bout. We're looking for the Lomachenko fight. We're looking for a big 135 division fight. He didn't need to cut weight for that. He would have. Shakira was a young gun. You really don't think he would have made weight if he had to? He had never missed weight before that. He's never had weight problems.
Hold on, wait. Look at what the brother just said. Look at what he just said. Let's talk.
Before y'all get going, I gotta wake up early in the morning, so I just want to let y'all keep doing y'all debate. I appreciate y'all letting me come up in here though and chatter.
Man, salute. Appreciate you, Zay.
We going live this Saturday by chance, Flu, or ain't nothing going on?
Because something's happening this weekend. I can't remember, but there's a fight happening this weekend. I can't remember off the top. There's something happening. All
right, bet. Just hit me and we can figure that out. All right, bro. All right, Doug. You have a good
night.
Much
love for you, Zan, man. You know I got a lot of love for you, man.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great night, bro.
All right, go ahead, Dub. Because I know you don't got that much time as well, Dub. So go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Get in.
Just about to say I'm about to jump off too, but I just
go ahead, man. Get in all your points before you had to get off, bro.
Man, go ahead, bro. You know what? I don't need to do. I'm gonna do it anyways. I rock with you so strong, bro. Man, I'm gonna cook with you for a few more minutes, bro. Just cause I rock with you, bro. I rock with you, but I did want to address that point. The brother said, he said, if you make attempt to cut weight, you won't be as strong for the fight, and that's a fact, bro. That's a fact. You ain't gonna be as strong. My problem is that because Shakur didn't make that attempt and Conceição did make that attempt and cut the weight, Conceição wasn't as strong in that fight. Shakur was a stronger fighter, and I just don't. Man, be professional with that shit, bro. Like, I know he ain't missed weight before, but I ain't with that shit, bro. I ain't with that shit at all. Respectfully to Shakur. And I love Shakur.
I respect that because that is actually keeping the same energy. I'm like, if you're going to criticize Andrade in the sense of you got to be with a major promotion, you're basically saying, okay, Shakur, you're with a major promotion, you have a big fight on the line, someone on the other end that you were supposed to fight. They did what they were supposed to do. They made sure that whatever they was obligated to in the contract, they fulfilled that obligation. You didn't. Even though when I look at it, I think it's just business. I think they're telling them like, hey, you can cut weight if you want, but you really don't have to because we know you're gonna move up to 135. So I'm like,
and respectfully to you, man, I don't give a damn if they telling you only got to cut, man. Hell no. If you're gonna be a professional in the sport, you feel me, man. And my other problem is you drop 2 belts, right? One of those belts was the WBA belt. Oh, excuse me, the WBO belt. With the WBO, when you move up, it makes, or if the mandatory hasn't already petitioned for that fight, then you can petition and become the mandatory. I want to see Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson. I want to see that fight. I got Dev. I'm a Dev fan, bro. I'm a true Devin fan. I think Dev beats all of those guys. But I want to
remember, Dub, Shakir was at 130, so he dropped the 130 belts. He dropped the 130 belts to move up to 135.
But if he moves up with those belts, he can mandate himself to be, or he can petition to be the mandatory for the WBO. He can petition for that. You drop the belt, you can't petition.
But we got to go in full circle, Dub, because if you're criticizing Demetrius Andrade for not being with a major promotion or not being with somebody who's going to be able to back him, you also have to acknowledge the beefs behind certain promotional companies to make certain fights to happen. So if Shakir Stevenson comes up with Bob Arum at 135 in Top Rank, then who is he going to be looking at? Okay, do you think Devin Haney's going to re-sign with Bob Arum after his 3rd fight against Lomachenko? Or not?
Nope.
He's not fighting 3 fights with Lomachenko, but I mean, after he has a fight, if he beats George Kambosos, then he fights Loma. If he beats Loma, he's going to be free promotionally.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. All I'm saying is that at this, I would, and this could be biased in me. It could be, and I am biased. I'm very biased. So I want to put that out there. I would rather see Shakur and Devin fight than Loma and Devin fight. I would much rather see Shakur and Devin.
That's rare. That's rare though. I'm like majority would rather see because I got to go back to Zin's point. Loma has a whole country behind him. That's a big fight, especially with Usyk just went in, especially with Ukraine going through the war. Loma versus Devin Haney is a much bigger fight than Shakira versus Devin Haney. Excuse me.
Hey, real quick,
Shakira versus Loma. Shakira versus Loma is a smaller fight than Devin Haney versus Loma. Devin Haney versus Loma is the fight to make right now.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, as far as me being a fan of the sport, I think it's a closer fight between Devin and Shakur than Devin and Loma. I think Devin, I ain't gonna say washes, but I think Devin beats Loma 8-4, 9-3, bro. In my opinion, that's my opinion. I think it's a much closer fight with Devin and Shakur, and I would rather see that fight. I don't even know, and I do agree that like I said, I'm biased. I'm very biased in this situation. I don't think Loma is as good as a lot of people try to tell me he is, especially what I've seen with him from Tio in the Tio fight. Teofimo Lopez, in my opinion, he gets his ass whooped by Devin, by Shakur, by Tank, by Ryan. I think all of those guys beat
Teofimo's in a bigger weight class.
Now he is. But I'm only speaking on the Tio and Loma fight. And that like, so
but Tio, look, this is the only thing I do want to say because I think a lot of people disrespect Teofimo Lopez because he lost to Cambosos, and they're like, "Oh, look what Devin Haney did to Cambosos," and I'm like, "I was like, Teofimo was gonna die. He could have died from that fight. He shouldn't have taken that fight. Virgil Ortiz Jr. did it. He's a bigger fighter supposedly. No one criticized him for not taking the fight, and he wasn't fighting someone on the level of.
I did criticize him. Matter of fact, what I said is when he came down with Rapdo. I don't know the exact name of whatever he had. When he came down with it, I felt like it was because him trying to cut weight. Nigga, move up, bro. Get the fuck out there out of 40, bro. Move up to 40. He a big dude anyways. Move up to 54, bro. Stop cutting weight unhealthy. You feel me? And I love fighters and I want them to cut the shit the right way. Get you and for Virgil Ortiz, if you got to get a goddamn nutritionist, do that. You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is when I look at these fighters and
but it didn't have nothing to do with nutrition. Well, I think actually you're right. Yeah, I think both of
everything. He cut weight the wrong way. He cut weight the wrong way. That's why he ended up with. I think it's rhabdo. I don't know, rhabdomyelitis or some shit.
I remember. Yeah, both of them had they weren't the same sicknesses, but both of them were basically life threatening.
Right.
They both had to do with cutting weight. Yes.
Tio shit was more than just cutting weight. His shit
was worse. His was worse.
Yeah,
he still fought through it.
Agree.
And you telling me you don't think Teofimo Lopez beats George Cambosos if they fight again?
Yeah, I do. I think.
Okay. All right.
9 out of 10 times, I think Tio beats Cambosos.
I don't think Cambosos can beat Teofimo Lopez.
But at the same time, when you respectfully. I can only go off of what you put out in the ring. I understand, like you said. Yeah, you damn right. I think he could have cut weight better. I think he could have been in better shape. And I think the layoff, as far as the shit going on with Triller and the shit getting pushed back damn near a year.
He messed up there. That was the one mess up. Y'all want to talk about Andrade making a bad business deal. At least Andrade got paid every time he showed up. Right. That was one of the worst business deals ever. Teofimo trying to make that first fight with Cambosos happen with Triller.
Facts. Shit. One thing you can never tell me, and you Goose, I got a lot of respect for you. You can never tell me I don't keep the same energy for fighters, bro. For all fighters, I keep the same energy. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of who it is, and the reason being is because if I don't, then I'm a hypocrite, and I'm calling everybody out who's a hypocrite because I want to make sure I'm not that guy. I want to keep the same energy, and so when I say it, I'm like, man, I don't think Tio should have fought that fight. I don't think he should have. At the same time, you
criticized heavily if he didn't.
But
he was coming off of that Loma win. But you're right. He should have took that. He should have took that smoke right then. It would have helped him in the long run.
But my thing is if you get in the ring, bro, I'm judging you regardless of what you got going on. Regardless, you know what you got going on better than I know. And if you get in the ring, bro, I'm judging you off of what you do in the ring. That's what I'm gonna judge you off of. People will say that Lomachenko, he had a shoulder injury against Teofimo Lopez, right? Guess what I say? I don't give a damn about that shit. I don't give a damn. He got in the ring. He made the fight. Same thing with Tank Davis. What they tell me? Tank had a broken hand. He broke his hand in the Pitbull Cruz fight. I don't care. I care nothing about it.
Also, he tore his Achilles in the first round against Tank Davis.
Gamboa.
Oh, Gamboa. I'm sorry. What did I say?
You said, I think you. I'm not sure. I think you said Gambosis is what I think.
I was thinking of George Cambosos and Gamboa. Damn. All right, my bad. Go ahead.
I know who you're talking about, and bro, I'm not giving Gamboa no credit. No credit, bro. If you lose a fight, Devin Haney fucked his hand up, fucked his shoulder up in the fight against Santiago, and he still won the motherfucking fight. Am I gonna sit there and say, "Oh, well, he should have did"? Nah, nigga, you did what you did in the fight. You won. I'm gonna give you the credit for winning that fight. I think you could have looked better in that fight. Yeah, you was hurt, but nigga, I'm not giving you credit for being hurt, bro. I'm not giving dudes credit for jumping. Gary Russell Jr., Mr. Gary Russell is what they like to call him, right? He got in the ring with what's the nigga name? Matt Sayo. Is it Matt Sayo? Mark Matt Sayo. He got in the ring with Matt Sayo. He knew he had a chance because he said he done had his injuries for, I don't know, 6-7 years. Had the shoulder shit. I
would say that's a little different though, Dub. That's a little bit different.
Nope. If you get in the ring with an opportunity and you, or not even,
I'm not favoring them. I'm saying that's a lingering problem. I don't give as much leeway for a lingering problem. Like, I've had a shoulder injury for a while, for 6 years, and I never got surgery. That's different than, you know what I'm saying? A sickness that just all of a sudden comes out of nowhere that you can possibly die from. You feel me? That's a little different.
He didn't get a sickness overnight, bro. He didn't get a sickness overnight.
He did. That came from cutting weight. Like, he wasn't sick before the fight happened. He became ill because he didn't. Well, supposedly he didn't correctly cut weight.
What was T.O.? Watch this. What was T.O.'s injuries, bro?
During for him to pull out, or excuse me, for the
the
George Cambosos fight.
Cambosos.
All they was talking about that he was sick. That's it,
bro. They said the nigga had a hole in his esophagus. That's what they say. Then also, like you said, the cutting weight shit. It wasn't rap though for him. What was the shit for him? I don't remember the exact shit it was called, but like you said, it was another issue that he had from cutting weight. It was multiple issues going into that fight. He shouldn't have.
You can't compare the two. That's all I'm saying. Is like I wouldn't necessarily compare the two. Is what you was talking about, because I think that's a little bit different. Because that's a life-threatening injury, a life-threatening illness.
Then why are you fighting?
Because he probably felt the pressure to fight. He probably felt like he probably like you got to think about it. Teofimo was young, so he probably in his personal mind, if I pull out and I don't take this fight, like he probably feels like at that moment the amount of backlash he will get will linger longer than him doing what he potentially ended up doing and taking the fight and put himself at risk of losing it. And now he's taking all these. It's like if he would have just missed out, he would have took 6 months to a year. People talking shit, but he would have been back in the ring with somebody. And he would still be undefeated. But it's like 50-50 hindsight.
And the same way I got smoke for him, I got smoke for all these other fighters. If that's the case, you feel me? Look at Virgil Ortiz. I can't say shit about Virgil Ortiz. The reason being is because what he did. He pulled out the fight. He said, you know what? I ain't healthy for this fight. I'm not gonna put myself in that situation. You feel me? I can't complain about that. But when you make the decision to get your ass in the ring, bro, I'm judging you off of what happens in the ring. You could tell me all that other shit, and it could be any other fighter. I'm gonna have the same smoke for him. Once you get in the ring, bro, I'm judging you off of what happens in the ring. That's what I'm judging you off of.
My whole point is just, Dub, is just we got to keep in mind that even if we do that, circumstances do change. Some are more intense than others. Others aren't as intense. And I feel like we can't put the same capacity as someone talking about a lingering shoulder injury in comparison to an illness that came up, yes, from badly cutting weight, but it could possibly kill them. That's two different potential things. And Teofimo still fought the fight.
Bro, if Virgil Ortiz can sit there and say that I'm not. I done cut weight the wrong way. I got this going on. I can't fight. Why Tio couldn't say the same thing?
Because I just feel like it's different type of pressures behind them. I feel like, you know, Virgil Ortiz has, like, Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions, they're backing him a lot more than Top Rank and ESPN is.
Tio wasn't even fighting with Top Rank then. He was fighting with Triller.
And that's my point. Top Rank was ended up being the one who got the purse bid from that. So he was still in the unstable. So he probably felt like, yo, already the first fight didn't happen. So he probably felt like he had it. Like, if I don't take this fight, he might feel like he end up in a Demetrius Andrade situation.
Maybe.
So I'm like, that's my whole point.
No. This is the reason why. Because Tio's next fight was with who? Top Rank, right? Even when Tio and Kambosos went to Triller and to make the fight, right? It went to Triller, then Triller pulled out the shit. It ended up being with the zone. What Bob said. Bob was like, bruh, these niggas colluded. They colluded against us to make more money. And so all I'm saying is that you had the machine behind you. You chose to go outside of that, at least. And for Andrade, he never went outside of it. What he did was when it came down to the Zach Parker fight, the first time he had an injury. This time he pulled out because of the money.
Yeah.
Tio didn't do that. Tio, he was in the ring.
He didn't want to take that. He didn't want to take that. Look how people looking at Boo Boo. Look how people look at Tio. So
no, bro. That is not. It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not. But at the end of the day, people are going to put everything on the same playing field.
Yeah.
Majority of people, when they look at boxing, they're not going to look at it as it not the same, or this is the situation. Just like I was trying to argue, like it's not the same with, you know, Teofimo's illness and the shoulder injury. You feel me?
It depends who it is. I do agree with that. I do agree it depends who it is. I do agree with that. The thing is Tio had that opportunity to pull out of that fight, and he should have pulled out of that fight. And when he didn't pull out of it, he got his ass whooped, bro. He got his ass whooped, and it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But let's move forward. I apologize for being long-winded.
Nah, you good. I was appreciating the conversation. Let's talk about last thing. You can't say you could look better in a fight if you hurt his shoulder and his hand, and he still won. It's about winning, losing, and coming home with a clear conscience. And that's him. He's rolling with you, Dub, on that side. He was. Let's talk about it for a minute. He was going a lot against you, and he's like, at the end, he's like, I gotta agree with that. You know, at the end of the day, when you win the ring, whoever wins. I can respect that. I don't got nothing against it. But
hey, we can agree. We can always disagree, but when the truth comes out, you can't disagree with the truth, right? It is
unless you're living in a different reality.
Hey, salute to the brother, man. Salute to him.
So we're gonna talk about the little altercation, you know what I'm saying, between Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis before we get up out of here.
Before you go into it, I gotta tell you, I've heard that Tank snatched his chain in Miami. I want to give you what I know about it before you play the shit. So you know that I'm coming very fresh into it. All I heard was the nigga snatched his chain in Miami in a club or some shit, and Ryan ended up calling the folks on his ass, which Ryan did the right thing because ain't no reason to get in the goddamn fight in the club. None of that shit. Nah, dude, call the people on his ass respectfully.
And see, look, the thing about it is a lot of people gonna be like, oh, you know what I'm saying, Ryan Garcia is scared of Gervonta Davis. He didn't want to fight. He didn't want to do nothing. He didn't want to defend himself. If that is true, he's being smart. How you gonna be younger? How you gonna be 3 years younger and make the smarter decision? Like we talking about people with real bags behind them, people with a lot riding behind them.
Why would you?
They had an altercation in the club. You know what type of money would be lost? Lawsuits be happening.
Why would you put your hand on somebody? Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah, I was done. Yeah, go ahead, Doug.
Put your hands on somebody being the older individual, being what we would think is the more experienced individual. Why would you put your hands on somebody in the club, bro? Why would you do that? It don't even make sense.
So let's go ahead. Let's see what Ryan Garcia had to say about the altercation, and then after we're gonna see what Gervonta Davis had to say about his interpretation of it. And then we'll respond to what we think about the entire situation, and then we'll let y'all, enjoy the rest of y'all night. So let's get it.
You know what's funny, guys? I actually did see, I seen Tank in the club. He's a tough guy. I went up to his table with me and this guy, and we said, "Yo, are we gonna make this fight happen?" And I guess he got offended by that. Got all worked up, and I was like, "Yo, what you on about, man?" It's like, ain't no respect here. And then he responds with, "Nah, there ain't no respect here." I said, "Oh, it's like that. Okay, it's like that. Okay." And then he grabbed my chain, but I wasn't worried about it. You know, there's so many security guards there. I knew he wasn't going to take my chain or do anything, really. He just wanted to seem tough. So I said, "Wow, it's like that, huh?" And then he responded again, "But yeah, it's like that." And then he had to let go. And then I said, "You know what? And then I said something to him. She knows what I said. I'm not going to repeat it on live, but just know, you know, in the fight, that's where it really happens. Outside the ring, you can act tough all you want. Inside the ring, it all changes. Definitely does. I'm not with the, you know, acting tough. I'm tough only when I need to be.
All right, so how you feel about that, Dub?
If you don't mind, I want to hear Tank's piece of it. I will say this though, man, keep your hand off. If you're not gonna get in the ring with a motherfucker, keep your hands off their ass until you get in the ring. If you're gonna get in the ring, same thing. Keep your hands off a motherfucker until you get in the ring with him. And I have no respect for that. I have no respect for it because at the end of the day, if Tank snatched this shit and Ryan would have teed off on his ass, niggas would be like, "Oh, Ryan taking cheap shots, this, that." Nah, Nick, no. Let's keep it a buck about it, bro. Tank taking cheap shots. He know that he's in a situation where this ain't the time for a fight, especially with both of us being registered or having hands registered accordingly. Nigga, get in the ring and fight his ass, bro. Fight him in the ring. Don't put your hands on him outside the ring. And whatever happens in the ring, it is what it is. But I don't respect this shit, bro. I don't respect it at all.
Real quick, salute to Sleeper being up in here for the first time. Honestly, I think they're both playing the part, selling the fight. They got genuine beef, but I think they're escalating it to promote the fight between them. He also added in Gervonta Davis has a big fan base, and Ryan Garcia has a huge fan base, so pay-per-view would do big numbers between the two. So if you believe the fight is going to happen, I respect that. Then let's talk about, where can I get hurt in the ring? Does that count or is that different? That man would have lost his life and then decided to box. He had to go to work and have a sick day today because he used them all with the laughing emojis. So salute to everybody up in here. Now what I'm going to do, respectfully, is let's go ahead and see the response for Gervonta Davis so we can get a full understanding, because obviously Gervonta Davis is going to have a side that he feels like he's going to tell. It might be different. There's 3 sides to every story. That's what they say, right? One person's side, the other person's side, and the truth. We're going to get at least 2 sides here, and then we can try and figure out what the truth is at the very least. It might not be that great, but we're going to do the best we can. So looks like we're going to be on the Twitter side of the game. I don't think he's actually responding, via like say anything in the camera like Ron Garcia, but that's what he said. If there's music, I'm going to turn it down. Yeah, there's music. So Gervonta Davis through Twitter said, Al told me to leave him be because he went crying to his lawyer. Al got a little scared they was going to pull out of the fight. So is he saying that Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia is actually in the works currently? Is there a possibility we're going to see that fight?
Hey, real quick. I talked to a few individuals behind the scenes. I'm hearing right now January 7th is going to be the fight is made, bro. I'm hearing that the fight is made, and one of my guys hit me with it. And one of the guys that I really respect and has always been straight up with me and been very accurate as far as fights being made. When I hit him with it, he was like, "Where you got that shit from?" I told him where I got it from. He was like, "Man, that shit is all the way on point, bro. You damn right. That's when it's going to be made." And so it seems like the fight is going to be made. I believe it's January 7th. I may be wrong. It's early January. I may be wrong on the 7th. I don't think I'm wrong, but I may be wrong on the date. But I do, from what I'm hearing right now, that shit is happening in early January, bro.
So who
And
you got if this does end up happening? Because I'm like, because I'm still trying to figure out if Terrence Crawford versus Earl Smith's gonna happen. But if that does end up happening, who you got winning? How you feeling? Who you favoring? How you think it's gonna go? Because a lot of people are saying that it just seems like a lot of people just think Ryan Garcia is just gonna get smoked.
yeah. I'm kind
belong
of
in the same class as him. He ain't done nothing.
I'm kind of the complete. I'm taking Tank right now, and mind you, I want to put this out here. My shit may change because I'm taking Tank right now, but man, that's gonna be a tough ass fight for Tank, bro. That's a Ryan Garcia. People don't give him credit for the fighter he is, from especially what I seen in his last fight and him working with Joe Goosen. Man, what I seen from him, the way he is now a lot. One of my biggest criticisms of Ryan Garcia is that he keep his chin in the air. I noticed. I saw him.
He's a tall fighter though, so I'm like, I know that's not necessarily
But
correct,
this is the thing. I saw him in the what's Buddy name, man?
You talking about his last fight, Fortuna?
Fortuna. I saw him.
Amazing. That chin was tucked and the shoulder was over.
Say it again. Say it one more time.
I saw was tucked and his shoulder was over it, protecting his chin. He was just fine. The jab looked great. The uppercut, everything.
Bruh, the jab looked great. The straight right looked great. You know what I'm saying? His knees were bent. His chin was tucked. Not the entire fight, but
but he didn't need to be the entire fight. You can relax.
Noticeable improvement from Ryan. And one thing I'm always about is I'm very critical of Ryan as a fighter. One of my criticisms for him previously to this fight is that he keep his shit in the air. He don't bend his knees. He kind of a lock-kneed, flat-footed fighter. And I saw bent knees. I saw him attempting to keep his shit out the air. I saw a great jab. I saw a great straight. He already got one of the best hooks. One of the best names.
Follow on his back foot. You know what I'm saying? Follow on the outside for a little bit, showed he can control the range, and then went back and then utilized the middle of the ring. It was beautiful.
Bro, I saw so many improvements from Ryan, bro, that I gotta give him credit, and I'm gonna give him credit. And so, going into the fight with Tank, bro, if that fight happens,
me personally, I think the fight is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen that soon. I think Ryan Garcia is fresh off of what he's doing. He's with a new trainer. I think we're going to see probably, he's still young, especially compared to Davis. I wouldn't rush that fight if I was Garcia. I would fight 2 times next year before I would even think about fight. I would look at the Gervonta Davis fight late December next year. That's
so this is the craziest thing, Goose, and because I talked to certain individuals behind the scenes or whatever, a lot of what I've heard is that, if you listen to Oscar De La Hoya, being Ryan's promoter right now, Oscar was like, I don't know who to call, this, that, whatever. Man, what I'm hearing is Ryan was like, he got his lawyer to go and negotiate these fights. If you look at the Muhammad Ali,
he's not going to. Oscar's not going to let him happen. Then.
Hold on, wait a minute. If you look at the Muhammad Ali Act, if a fighter can make a fight bigger than what is being offered to him, then you can't stop them from making that fight happen. And what I'm hearing right now is that when Ryan brought his lawyer into it, it created a rift between Ryan and Oscar. If you go back and think about this, look at the rift that happened between Canelo and Oscar, right?
But that's different, though. Canelo has more power.
It is different to some degree, but when you have a big fight on the table like this, you gotta allow your fighter to go make this fight happen, because that's what the Muhammad Ali Act. It's out there for 2 reasons. It's out there for managers not to be able to take double what's the word, or double credit for or double promotions, whatever it is, can't get paid twice off of a fighter. The second thing is that you can't, if there's a bigger fight for you, then you can go make that fight happen regardless of what your promoter wants to happen.
Correct.
And with Ryan bringing his lawyer into it the way
But
I heard he's bringing his lawyer into it.
I'm telling you, Dub. At the end of the day, he's going to have to answer to who his promoter is, and that's Oscar De La Hoya, and that's Golden Boy.
Not facts. Not at all.
I'm telling you, because of what happened, the contractual obligation.
And I'm telling you this. I'm telling you
right now.
I'm telling you this. This is what I'm telling you. That yes, if Oscar goes and makes the biggest fights for Ryan, he will be able to keep Ryan. The problem is, hold on. Go ahead.
Let me ask this because I let you get you up. Let me ask you this: who do you know, other than the Canelo as of recent, has been able to get outside of their contractual obligation? Even Canelo didn't get outside of his contractual obligation. He was a free agent at that point. So who have you known be able to get out of their contractual obligations other than Canelo, even before that, Floyd? But I'm like, in current day of now, we're able to get out of it and be able to utilize that by bringing a lawyer in. You can't. It's just that's not how everything is in place nowadays. It's like, yes, the Muhammad Ali Act is there to protect the fighters, but because the fighters are making so much money, they cannot contractually get out of their obligations anymore.
Unless they can make fights for bigger money. And regardless of, my question to you, I'm not disagreeing with what you just said. What I would ask you is this. What's a bigger fight than Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia? What's a bigger fight for Ryan? What's a bigger fight?
There's not a bigger fight for Ryan Garcia, but that's like saying wait. That's like saying what's the bigger fight for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Just because it's the biggest fight doesn't mean it's going to be made.
No,
at the end of the day, the promoter is still the boss in this shit. If he doesn't want a fight to happen, he won't allow it to happen. Canelo had enough money to make it happen.
Not true.
He did have enough money to make it happen. The reason why he was smart enough to play Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions the way he did what he did. He played them by getting them to sign a co-promotional deal with Eddie Hearn and DAZN and make it seem like he fell out of bad graces with DAZN and Eddie Hearn. Then he ended up coming back and suing them with DAZN and Eddie Hearn backing him. If Terrence Crawford had someone like DAZN behind him to back the reason why he was suing Bob Arum and Top Rank, he would be in the same position. They would be in settled.
Not true at all. And this is I gotta tell you, Goose, I apologize, bro. I really apologize because I told you 20 minutes, bro. I definitely gotta jump off, but man, if you don't mind, man,
give your last words, uninterrupted. Give your last words before you gotta get out of here, man.
I want to go in depth in this topic, bro, because what we're seeing right now is definitely changing the sport. And what Ryan Garcia is doing, I'm not a big fan of Ryan Garcia. I'm not. I like Ryan Garcia, but I'm not a fan of him. I think Devin will beat the shit out of Ryan Garcia. I think Shakur beat the shit out of him. You feel me? I think Tank will beat the shit out of him. But at the same time, I like what Ryan is doing, and I like the way he's moving. And man, if you would, Goose, I want to put my information in the chat, bro, in the private chat, because I ain't gonna give y'all niggas my shit. But
yeah,
I would.
Go ahead, drop it, bro. Regular comment, but yeah.
I do want to come back and have this conversation, but I will say I do have to go. And man, I wish I didn't have to go, bro. Like
anyway, bro, just come back. You know, we be doing this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's already Wednesday, Thursday. You know, we're gonna be back Friday night. We got Saturday night. So I'm like, man, we gonna be here, man. So no worries. I'm like, it's a good time for me to end anyways, too, because I'm like, it's late on my side of the game as well. So I got to get in a good night's sleep myself, man.
Goose, hey man, Goose, one thing I will do, man, and before I do it, I'm gonna drop my information in the chat. Would you hit me up? If you don't want me to drop it in there, I won't. Let me know.
Drop it in, bro. I got you, man.
Yes, sir.
Know, man. It's all about family. It's all about building here. You know what I'm saying? I want to salute to Let's Talk About It. I'm seeing your comments, man. I appreciate you coming up in here, man. It's a good time, man. I wish it wasn't Wednesday, man. I wish it was like the weekend. You feel me? We could be, talking, getting it in, all that type. But it is late. I won't even lie to you. I want to appreciate Let's Talk About It. I want to appreciate Sleeper being, you know what I'm saying, first time you coming up in here. I seen your comments. You was coming at me for the Demetrius Andrade takes, but I appreciate that. Keep dropping it in there. I'm not minding none of that. But I appreciate you coming here on the live chat. Appreciate Dub Right Side. Appreciate Zen earlier being here, man.
Goose, hey
Go ahead.
man,
Last words, man. Let me know. Also,
these,
anybody, let's talk about it. If you got your last comment, last words you want to drop it in the comments. You feel me? So I can show it before we up out of here.
now my last words, man. First things first, gotta get you on the channel, man. You know, we always we gotta we rocking with right. Damn, we rocking with right side over on my channel, man, and gotta have you on the channel because you definitely a fantastic boxing mind, and I love it. Drop my information in the chat, man. Hit me when you go live, bro. Every time you go live, hit me up because I love to come over and support you. And man, I will tell you, you a hell of a boxing mind. I think I've told you this multiple times, but I appreciate everything you come with, and you come with different opinions that give me a chance to argue. And I'm all about arguing, just to be real, I'm all about it. But you give me different opinions, and I love to come on and talk and just talk boxing, bro. Like you're one of the few people who really keep it boxing, don't make it personal, and will allow anybody to come on. And I really appreciate that shit, bro. So salute to you, Gooseman, and always know hit me when you go live, bro. Shoot me a text. I put my shit in the private chat. Hit me when you go live, and definitely want to come through and show you love, man. Much love,
man.
Much love to the chat. Zen, I hope Zen listening. I got a lot of love for Zen. Goose, don't be mad at me. Zen might know more boxing than you do, bro. Respectfully.
Nobody knows more boxing than me. No, I'm playing. I got it's all love, man. I want, you know what I'm saying? If you know the most in the group, then you probably not progressing. You feel me? So that's how I see it. You know what I'm saying? I like to bring all type of different individuals, different mindsets, no matter what the case may be. It's nothing but love. You know what I'm saying? The more you don't know in the group, the more you gonna know later on in your life. You feel me? That's my motto.
Goose, man, love you, thank you, and appreciate you, bro. I got a lot of love for you, a lot of appreciation, and thank you for allowing me on, man. Much love to you.
Enjoy your night, Dub. You know what I'm saying? Come back on when you can, bro.
Yes, sir.
I want to say to the people, let's talk about it. Said at the end right here, said debate and discussion, we never argue. Yeah, never argue. We always discussing. We always talking. You know what I'm saying? Nobody ever offended, man. No reason to bring your feelings in this. I just want to say to the people, man, it's a good time tonight, man. I had a really good time. I won't lie to you, man. If it wasn't Wednesday night, I'd probably go later. You feel me? But last night I started to stream like mad late, so I was, you know what I'm saying, I was mad tired. So it's like I want to try and get some good sleep. I probably won't get as good sleep as I want to because it's late already, so it don't really matter. But I just want to salute to the people as always, man. Double salute to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody, man. If you ain't here, man, hit the like button. You already know. Tomorrow's Thursday night, so you know I'm gonna be back Thursday night with some content. You feel me? We probably gonna go live tomorrow. Well, we definitely gonna go live for the Fluenceboxing. I don't know if I'm gonna drop videos. I may drop videos. We'll see. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely gonna go live tomorrow for the Fluenceboxing. Friday, we got responding to the comments. I'm definitely responding to the comments because y'all was going crazy at me. Sleeper, y'all was you was one of them coming crazy at me. So we definitely gotta do that. And of course, we got Fluence Lounge coming up Saturday. That's gonna be fire. That's gonna be lit. So make sure if y'all up in here and you ain't did it, hit the like button, show your boys some love, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe to the channel, be part of the family. You already know what type of time we on Sports Nigga Side of the Game. I'll be back, but with more boxing. Stay blessed, not stressed. Much love to the people. Enjoy the rest of your night. Salute to the people, man. I had a good time. I appreciate y'all as always, man. I'm out of here for now, but I'm gonna be back later. Look out for me tomorrow. Feel me?